Sunday. Ain't got no prayers had by Sunday. It's a fine, fine day. Sunday. Sunday.
Good morning, gearheads. It's Sunday. You aren't in church. You may be a heathen, and Blind Mike appreciates it. Go to blindmike.net for all Mike's canned farts and links. On today's show, we get introduced to the Andrew Tate of Andrew Tates. One King Azoulay. Also, is Steel Toe going to the Clinker? The sexy Big J Oakerson and the Puerto Rican Rattlesnake appear on Joe Rogan. What do they think about the pyramids? Find that out, plus a little of the Opester. And now, your host, a man who avoids lolcow lawsuits like Neo avoided bullets.
Blind Mike Geary!
You know, say what you want about America. There aren't a lot of countries that could start a war with another nation, and hours later their citizens are talking about Aaron Imholt's goal.
You want to talk about last night?
There's a comfort in that, in a way.
When I asked how last night was, I did mean Iran.
The only reason I bring it up is because Carl's live show ended with someone going, "Hey, we just bombed Iran," and they were literally at the end of the show. So they talked about that for like 5 seconds, and then Carl just goes like, "All right, good night, everybody."
That's very funny.
Yes, but aside from that, a lovely evening last night at Boston City Winery with the WATP crew and Dick Masterson's show. I did not really. It's weird. I was on the show with Dick, but I didn't really meet him at all. I didn't talk to him off stage. He and I are both, it seems, very quiet. Mm-hmm. So we did not. Those two magnets never touched each other.
Right.
But yeah, it's very nice. I get in my own head at that stuff, and it's hard to describe. I've always had a tough time describing this to people because I think people think it's like a self-esteem issue in the sense like I'm nervous about the live shows. I've gotten to the point where the live show, like the shows, once I'm in the seat, that is my favorite part. Like last night, it wasn't a theater show, so it was more like a Saka.
Yeah.
So I could hear everything. So like those I'm comfortable with once I get into the seat.
Right.
But the anxiety that I have is everything else around it, where I can't see a fucking thing. I have to interact with people. So I get terribly nervous at those. But it ended up being a warm and welcoming environment. So I had a great time.
Carl happy with it?
Carl seemed very happy. Carl's too nice a guy where he says things like, the show ends and I say goodbye to him and he goes, I appreciate you coming out, Mike. A lot of people were very excited to see you. And I was like, there's no way you know that yet. It just ended.
Unless you got like a bunch of people being like, you better be there.
Just a lie to boost my ego. But very nice of him to say. Justin was without Justin, I wouldn't have been able to attend. My seeing eye man was there.
Yeah.
So now there's multiple podcasts where if you don't know a ton about Justin, you'd think he that's just what he does is he walks me out on stage at podcasts. And then he goes back to just wait for me. But I very much appreciate Justin doing that because I can't I don't know, other than I wouldn't want to bring the skirt to that.
No.
I don't know who's second in line after Justin. He might be if Justin ever perishes. I don't know if I can leave the house without fear.
I would assume me, probably.
Boy, that's awfully lofty thinking of yourself.
I've done it before. I've helped you through places.
I suppose. But no, shout out to Justin for helping with that. And I also wanted to say, I don't know why this stuck in my mind so much. And I wanted to say it to her, but I felt weird. I didn't know if it would come off weird. But I met the lovely Jenny Jingles last night, Carl's wife, who's often on their podcast. And all I could think of as I was meeting her was she was such a delight, just a treat, a lovely woman, personality, looks, everything. And all I could think of was the way John attacked. I think he literally called her a behemoth at one time. And she's like a petite little lady. And as I talked to her, she couldn't have been more like warm and inviting. And it made me so much more disgusted the way John and Rob Saul speak of her, because they go in on her harder than they do Carl for some reason. Because I'm sure that's their own issues with women or something. But like, that's all I was thinking of is talking to her. I was like, you're not a cunt like Rob Saul says.
She doesn't fight back.
No, she stays out of it, which I imagine that's what I wanted to ask her about it, because I imagine that has to be somewhat difficult when you have these fucking gargoyles talking about you. But
I know I don't understand the routes people take online sometimes. I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? Like, what good does that do anybody?
It is weird. Although, as I found out last night, there are some people that will say that stuff to your face.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know if you know this, Craig. I'm not particularly thin. And people don't mind pointing it out, apparently.
Oh, I get that all the time. I'm used to that.
One guy, and I thought this was Carl's brother. Justin told me it was not. It was someone else. Which, if it was Carl's brother, it would have been really hilarious. But I think it was someone else that just goes to me, kind of out of nowhere. He goes, "You're not that fat." I go, "Oh, thank you."
Oh, good.
That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, it's very nice.
But no, the whole crew was delightful. Vinny Paulino was very funny. Adam Bush was very fun. I know Adam Bush gets a lot of shit for being too serious, and that's not always wrong. But he was very funny last night, so that was good to see.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what other highlights. But yeah, it was a great time. Great to meet producer Chris, Lucy Tightbox, the whole crew there. So it was a good time. I hope I didn't disappoint. You know.
I think according to Carl, you really helped him out.
I inspired a lot of people. He said, it changed a lot of lives that you were here tonight. But I'm such the opposite vibe of them, where they're like, come on, get a few. They don't realize, they're like, get a few drinks. And I'm like, no. Won't be.
You don't understand. I'll ruin your show.
Yeah, it'll be a disaster. So
I'm so much better than Carl.
The only way I can do that is if I have no fun. and they seem to be like a fun-loving group. So very, very different vibes. Like the second it was done, they're like, what bar are we going to? I was like, I don't know, but have fun finding it. No, great time. Glad they invited me. And as I told Carl, if they ever schedule another one within 20 minutes of my house, then I'm happy to go.
Yeah.
That'll be more difficult when I move.
Yeah, I think so.
The big show in Worcester.
Hey, Justin, big ask here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other notes. Oh, and I met Skinny Chad.
How'd that go?
Great.
Oh.
No, he came up to me and he goes, Mike, I get why people thought I was going to murder Carl. I don't get why you thought I was going to murder you. A man said that to me last night. I was like, no, man, just kidding around. Just no.
Which way you going? No, I'm going the other way. Sorry.
Totally kidding around, as I am right now. By the way, if you're listening, sir, it was not menacing at all when you said that to me. You're a lovely guy and my best friend. So
that happens. You just start blindly reaching for Justin to figure out what
we were walking in. Me and Justin were walking in from the parking lot, and he was standing on my right. And then he moved over. I think he went to hit one of the like crosswalk things. Mm-hmm. So I looked to my right, and he's gone. And there's a 1 second where I'm like, if he left, I would just be like, well, I'm here now. I live on the corner. I live outside the Boston Garden. Like that's just where I stay now.
I'm here now.
It's hard to describe to people because it's like I'm not trying to do it in a way where it's like feel bad for me. I just need you to know it's terrifying. I can't convey it to people in the way I want to, but it's a horrifying experience.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is like a typical meeting Blind Mike for the first time comment. I wonder if this happened last night. Was someone actually like, wow, you really are blind?
Not to me, but I did say to Justin, I expect that from someone at some point to go, so he's actually blind.
Yeah. That'll be on Thursday at 6.
Yeah. Other than that, no notes. It was just a lovely time. I met Harrison Young, but I don't know if you remember who that is. We talked about him once.
I don't remember.
Remember we talked about him? He's the guy that interviewed Carl, where I think our big takeaway from that interview was where Carl goes, Harrison, we have over 20,000 listeners. I think that was what we zeroed in on.
Oh, yeah.
But Harrison Young was a real treat as an interviewer.
That's right.
And so I got to meet him. He came on the live show and gave one of the longest. Carl goes, how long have you been doing your podcast? That seems like a quick one-word answer, right?
5 words max?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went on for like 7 minutes. To the point where eventually I was like, did everyone leave me up here? Is it just me and him now? Like, what? Why is he still talking?
This was the Aussie guy's last prank.
That would have been great if they said, hey, Harrison, how long have you been doing your podcast? And then Carl, Dick, everyone just got up and left. And it was just me and Harrison as he goes on for an hour and a half.
And you're just acting like interested. Like, oh,
okay, nice.
Neat.
Yeah, we got to talk about Woke Dad, which was it's fun to hear a crowd sing along to My Transvestite Children for TikTok, which is so all around a good experience. I don't know if anyone has any questions, you can fire away in the chat, I guess. But that's those are the highlights from my end. So
it's turns out in terms of Carl, it is meet your heroes. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, my heroes.
I do like how he's like, man, everyone here is so happy.
They're all he's a true salesman. He's like, they all love you, man. I'm like, you're not even off the stage yet. How would you know that?
I have to assume he just heard like 3 people before the show.
Right.
Like, if Mike's not there, I'm gonna blow this place up. But judging by what you've said,
sure.
They're not gonna be too friendly.
Sure. No, but that's another thing too, is like all delightful people, much like is often said about the Minifans, where it's like you see people online and they're like, oh, they're gonna be mean to me. They're lovely,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like everywhere else, there's the handful that you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone's super fucking nice.
Yeah. All right, should we get into business today?
Absolutely.
Well, first I want to tell you to go to blindmike.net, where you can get all of our links. If you like Who Are These Socials, or you want to find out more about it, or Why Are You Laughing, Blind Mike Project, all the links for all these programs are there. Give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. If you're watching live on YouTube, which you can do every Sunday at 10 a.m., then like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys doing that. It helps more people find the show. If you're watching live right now, smash that like button and subscribe so you always know when we're live or stuff premieres. And if you're a Why You Laughing fan, we just did an episode about Sam Hyde and Tim Heidecker. I did not know the day we released that, Sam Hyde dropped a new world peace, basically.
Oh, really?
I think it's called Extreme Peace or something. Yeah. Accidentally, extremely timely.
That is very weird.
Yeah, someone messaged me and was like, "You should just make that free." And I was like, "I can't. I promise. I'm stuck to this schedule."
They're probably right, though.
yeah, they're absolutely right. But it's up for. I've never been good at marketing, so it's up for members now. If you want to check that out, and I think we're gonna do an episode soon, hopefully this week. I found this guy. I'd never heard of him, but Harry Picar on David Letterman. Very weird dude that would get into some tussles with Letterman. So I think that might be worth at least a bonus episode. So check those out, blindmike.net.
And if they were big fans, they would know it would only have been free if Sam Hyde died. We would release it.
Sure. Yeah, then we'd have to.
That's
or Tim Heidecker, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
But one other note is again, you should really thank Casey Day for what he's done to your reputation.
Me?
Because people would ask me, yes, you.
Mhm.
People have asked me like, who's on the show tomorrow? Or I really miss Craig on the show tomorrow. And I'd be like, oh, he's gonna be on tomorrow. And Craig, they're like, oh yes. I heard people do that. Yes, they were like excited.
HACKRIDE is Casey Day is so fucking good at what he does too. That's why I don't get it. I truly don't get it. Just because
someone goes, yeah, I feel like Craig, like I like Craig more on the show, but I feel like Casey Day does more. And I like spit out my drink. I was it's not even close.
I can't do video. I can cut clips that we play, but if anything you see that looks good is HACKRIDE.
I was like, yeah, he does a lot more, but but yeah, so people were Craigophiles were out in full force. Someone did ask me, they go, where does Craig live?
Okay.
And I go, New Hampshire. And he goes, yeah. But where in New Hampshire? I was like, what are we doing here, man?
You have a trench coat on.
He's like, I could take care of him for you, is all I'm saying.
I mean, this house would fight back, all I'd say.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
And they asked me, they're like, what's fun to do in Boston tomorrow? I was like, you are asking the wrong guy. I was like, I don't know, stay home.
Go watch the AAA baseball team at Fenway.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this business here. First, let's talk about Stavros and Adam Friedland got together for another episode of Stavi's World. No Nick Mullen this time, but inevitably, our friend Tom Myers did come up. So I just wanted to play this real quick because he really is the one that got away. And I used to wag my finger at Tom, my buddy Tom, and say, you got to do that show. Now I think it might be better for the lore that he never did Cum Town.
Right.
Maybe when they're old and gray, he'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
But it might be better for the legend of Tom Myers that he never did it. But his name comes up. They're thinking of guests that Adam Friedland could have, and Tom's name comes up.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
Stavros, Nicholas, Tom Myers, Friedland.
Damn, that's the white whale for the Adam Friedland show.
I offered him $5,000.
Not enough, bro.
He said, no.
Don't lowball the king, man.
I would give him
a suite at the Plaza.
I've never paid it again.
20.
I just imagine Tom Myers. How lucky can one guy be? He's in like the Ritz Carlton.
He is in the movie Blank Check.
It would be so great. I like the idea that Tom's holding out 5,000 is, I mean, like Rogan doesn't pay his guests. You know what I mean? Like 5,000 is a crazy amount of money to get to be on a podcast. And Tom's like, not enough. He's got morals.
I like how Stav, like without hesitating, is like, you can't lowball the king.
No, you can't.
All the fucking
premium pussy.
Oh yeah,
anything you want. Yeah. I'd introduce him to Chris Cuomo. That would actually maybe do it.
Yeah.
He wants to be. Oh,
like
dude, you're actually kind of stealing his. He sees, dude.
Politipod? I'm doing the Politipod.
You're doing Politipod. You're stealing Tom Myers' career.
Get that out there. Adam Friedland has ripped off Tom Myers versus the rest of the world, which I don't think they know about yet. They know they're in Politipod days, but
I do enjoy that. Adam very seriously just goes, shit.
It is kind of true. Like Adam became who Tom Myers was aspiring to be in a way.
Yeah.
Through trashing Tom Myers. That's how Adam rose to success. So he kind of has Tom Myers to thank, you know? Think about that one.
You're literally doing.
I didn't realize. I do have Jeff. What's his name?
You know what's crazy? I know who they're talking about. They're talking about Jeff Heisen. They can't remember his name, but I do.
Something Jewish.
I don't remember
That comic.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember his act? He was like, I'm like the cool older guy in my office.
Oh, I do.
And I'd be like,
but
this guy
I remember
is
his face.
terrifying women.
Yeah.
There's something so amazing. You got to tip your cap to what they did. Like, if you think about that's very difficult in broadcasting. It's something Kirk is great at. Like, to get an audience to care about someone they don't even really know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they were able to do. Like Tom Myers, Dan Ninen. Like, it's a Stern thing where it's these people that otherwise you would never think about. They've managed to create a world about them where there are now people. Like, if you look up Cum Town, Tom Myers, the videos have hundreds of thousands of views. Just for these like Baltimore comedians that otherwise wouldn't have had name recognition. And you know, me and Tom are brothers now. We're best friends. But what I tried to get through to Tom when we interviewed him is...
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. We have a super chat from Tom Myers.
Oh, I'm curious what he says.
Tom Myers for $5. Fact check. I was never offered any amount of money to do
What?
Adam Freeland show or Cum Town. Adam Freeland, like Nick Mullen, is an outright liar.
They're lying?
Wow.
Adam Friedland wouldn't lie to the public like that, would he?
I can't imagine. Maybe
This generation's Jon Stewart. They talked about that on Stavi's World, where Stavros pulled up these pictures of some publication making Adam like the next Jon Stewart, and he's taking all these douchey photos. It was very funny. It's just very funny to see the punching bag from a podcast called Cum Town get like big name. Like, he interviewed Sarah Jessica Parker like a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, It's very funny to see him in that position. It's very cool what they've done. But I don't like this. They're lying about Tom. Is that true, Tom?
that's what it seems like. I don't like that.
We got to get to the bottom. You know what? I don't know if I'm the man to do it. I don't have a relationship with the Cum Town guys, but I'm hoping someone, maybe I can contact Louis J. Gomez or something and see if we can broker a deal here, because this is, I don't like, you know, the idea that they're talking about Tom in this way. If they didn't really make that offer, I think they would do it. I think they would give him $5,000. I think what Adam is trying to say, if I can try to be mediator here, Tom, don't blame me for this. I'm just trying to, we're arbitrate here. I think what they're saying is they said on the show they would pay him $5,000. I even heard the number 10,000. So they didn't go to Tom directly, but I have heard them say that on air. So maybe that's what they meant. And Tom needs to be massaged a little bit. He's a victim of their bullying, so I think he wants, a real serious offer. But now, Tom, if we get you this deal, would you do it? That's the real question. That's what we need to find out. Would you do it for $5,000?
What about live at Skankfest? They meet.
I mean, that's the best place for it, right?
Correct.
That's got to be. We got to get in Lewis's ear.
Yeah, we got to.
That's got to happen.
If he'll talk to us.
Well, Lewis, I saw Lewis's show at Laugh Boston, and like his progression of stand-up has been he's gotten a lot better it's been cool to like watch him, like each thing he's put out, he's gotten better and better. This new hour, we were talking about it on the Quincy stream the other night. He has a legitimately great bit and actually an innovative bit that he has in his special that I've never seen anyone do anything like that before. It's pretty funny, but Lewis did not do the podcast, which adds him to the list. Another, I always let this go, but another clear HACKRIDE lie was when he told me he booked Big J Oakerson. Craig, pull up the Big J Oakerson episode.
I saw the communications. I did see it. It was underway.
I'm sure. But
now, did it happen? No, but
I'm like Tom Myers. I've just been lied to and about all this time. That's why me and Tom get along so well.
Oh man! Well, I guess speaking of Lewis.
Oh, that's right. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, speaking of Lewis, Louis J. Gomez and Big J. Oakerson were on Joe Rogan this week. Kind of makes sense why Lewis didn't do this podcast when in the same week he was on the biggest podcast on the planet. But They were on Rogan, and I think you could do this almost any time Joe has a comedian on.
Yep.
We could have done the compilation of Big J Oakerson swinging for the fences with a joke and getting nothing, just crickets from Joe.
Yeah.
And it's Jay being like very funny and Joe just answering him seriously. Where he's like, "Oh, did you actually do that?" And Jay's like, "No, of course not." But there was one clip where I think Joe has a good sense of humor. So that's more what we're putting on display here, where these guys always talk about like how all their friends are in the Rogansphere, even Dave Smith, and they were kind of left out. So they confront him about that in this clip.
Yeah. Is Dave in the Rogansphere? We're trying to figure out how we get in the Rogansphere.
Yeah.
My Oakersphere
You're
is
in it
more
right
real.
now.
Look, first of all, Shane doesn't need the Rogansphere anymore. Let's just move Shane out, move Big J into that position.
Doesn't require the Rogansphere.
Ari's
at all.
moving to fucking Thailand or something. He's gone. I'm ready. I'm a wacky guy. I'll shave half my head.
Ari's a wacky guy.
Over there and bail.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk to him. I'm
1
call
year.
him up every day. Fuck that place. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call him
This is
up.
where Joe's lack of improv skills. Luz is like, "Get me in there," and Joe's like, No. Ari's going to stay. Don't worry about it. There's actually not room for you because I'm going to have Ari stay.
But you are right. Shane does not need the Rogansphere.
No. They're all big enough. Get Jay and Lewis in there. But what I like about Jay and Lewis's appearances on there, particularly when they're on together, they are able to, like, they had bits going the whole time where Joe brings up, I want to say NGOs or something like that. And Jay just goes, "Joe, should I explain, or are you going to explain to Lewis what those are?" Because, like, obviously I know, but explain to Lewis what those are. And then later in the podcast, Joe's talking about Atlantis. And he's saying, there's these rumors that there were no black people in Atlantis or something. And Jay goes, "Well, they probably didn't want to get their hair wet," which I think is a very funny joke. But Joe goes, what do you think Atlantis is? And Lewis goes, "He probably thought it was the underwater city. I didn't think that, Joe, but this fucking, you believe this idiot?"
That's exactly what it was.
So like they don't try, like, it's tough. And I actually like feel sympathy or empathy for people that go through that, more than making fun of them. Because remember we played Matt Rife on Joe's show?
Yes.
Where like I felt bad for Matt Rife, where like it might be easy to make fun of him for that, but it's like, what else do you do on that show? Where Matt Rife went on and kept being like, "I'm really into ghost hunting. Does that do anything for you?" And Rogan's just like, "Nah, but here's this thing about, they found dinosaur bones on Venus or something."
Or the latest fat burner ingredients.
Yeah, Matt's like, "I don't know a lot about that, but ghost hunting is pretty crazy, right?" Like he kept trying to bring it to that thing that he thought Joe might be interested in.
Yeah.
So like Joe's at this point now where I think he used to be really interested in his guests. And now the guest, it's almost like a show and tell where the guests have to come and be like, "I've started eating elk meat recently." Like they have to present to Joe the things that they're interested in. "I like crossbows, Joe. Do you happen to be into Oh, you are into those. What are the odds?"
Do you like compound crossbows?
So it is like, that's where Joe has lost his touch a little bit with interview. I think now we're at the tipping point where now people do too much shitting on Rogan. Because like I listened to these guys on there and I thought it was a good episode. I liked it. So I still think if you like the guest, it's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Like now we're getting to the point where it's too far, where they're like, "Joe, he's a government plant and he's working for Trump and all this." It's like, well, no, maybe he's just a rich guy that lost touch a little bit, but still does a decent show,
He kind of lost interest in the comics, which is strange. Like
because that's kind of what I'm talking about. Where Dan Soder talked about this, where it's like he goes in and Dan believes in like aliens and UFOs and shit, and he's like, "How about aliens?" And Rogan's like, "I'm not really into that today." And Dan's like, "Damn it!"
Because like the other kind of guests, it's almost like he's going to a class for like 3 hours.
Yes.
He sits there and listens to them. With the comics, he's very like
He's
standoffish.
teaching.
Yeah.
Yes, he takes over the blackboard that day.
Right. Which is kind of like, come on, man, just fucking. That's why I like Protect Our Parks. Is the three of them will give him shit.
Yes, which is nice.
Yeah, and honestly, the Legion of Skanks guys will too. And he just
a little bit in a funny way. They're more like, "Hey, Joe, we're totally in on whatever." Like they're giving him shit in like a sarcastic way, kind of.
Yeah, which I do appreciate.
Yeah.
I think we got Diaz coming here.
Oh, it's Austin.
Yeah,
That's great.
Sorry, we already got a Puerto Rican.
about we can't come in Jersey for the fights.
Jersey, man.
So he's back in the sphere.
Fuck yeah! There's plenty of room for you guys. You're in the sphere right now. You're on the show.
Every time the Rogansphere gets talked about, we never get thing. When Cat Williams said 6 unfunny comics,
We knew it wasn't us.
I knew it wasn't us. I would have been happy to be one of the 6 unfunny comics.
Listen, Cat probably has a point, but what I was to try.
That's the part I like when Rogan's like, "Listen, I get what he was saying. Maybe I had Schaub on a little too much, you know."
Yeah, didn't Schaub just move there too? That's so funny.
Oh, we could have done a Schaub segment this week, but I just saw enough people cover it. But yes, Brendan is like, I think people make too much with Schaub and Callan. People are like, "Oh, Brendan didn't take the hint." I've heard many times Callan's like, "We got to get you to Austin. We got to get you to Austin." So like, Brian is complicit in getting Brendan to Austin. But there is a thing now where like, it seems like Brendan hates it. Callan is already missing podcasts. They gave each other shit right out of the gate on an episode a couple weeks ago for Brian being late and then missing shows. And Brendan was being very bitchy about it. So it does seem like the move is not going great. And Brendan's like, "I'm not doing comedy."
Right, which would be the only reason for him to move there.
Well, I guess the other reason would be so Fighter and the Kid gets big guests again. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think they'd have a better shot in LA for that.
Well, their logic would be, you do the circuit. You do YMH, you do Kill Tony, you do Rogan, you do Fighter and the Kid, Matt and Shane. Like, enough of those podcasts are down there that when people are promoting stuff, they'll hit all those podcasts. So I think they're saying, like, let's get in that cycle, you know?
I would like to see Brendan Schaub on Kill Tony. So everyone that goes up, every time Schaub critiques them, they can just go, "I'm better than you."
Well, he was on back in the day, but I think that's why he would never do it again.
Yeah, it probably didn't go well. I didn't see that.
And there's a weird thing where, like, Tony has been on with Tony. Remember we played, like, Tony really shitting on Brendan's special.
Yeah.
But then it never really gets brought up again because there's weirdness in that crew where they're like, "Are we allowed to make fun of Brendan? We're not really sure."
Right. It's like they're just looking at Rogan and be like, "Come on, give us the green light." Let's get some super chats real quick.
All right.
Oh, Tom Myers gifted a Blind Mike Project membership.
Tom, you're too kind. Thank you, buddy.
Tom Myers, I guess like on your anniversaries, you can make comments that come up here, which I'm just realizing.
Anniversaries.
Like Tom Myers, member for 1 month, just said,
"What an anniversary."
Huh?
Well, what an anniversary. What a celebration.
Right. It says, "Hey, Mike, have a great show. Big ups, Craig." Thank you, Tom Myers.
Thank you, buddy.
Fun okay, member for 12 months. On record, Craigers. Was Iran trying to build an A-bomb or only deterring Western Israeli aggression?
I'll give you the floor for this one.
I think they were trying to build A-bombs.
Oh, no. I didn't think you'd be serious about it. All right.
I don't know how to make that funny. It just happened. Suburban Tug Time, $3.11. Whoa. Apparently Ozempic doesn't work on the face. That could be any of us.
But it doesn't make sense for me because I haven't lost weight. So maybe you.
I haven't.
Oh, because you were on Ozempic for a long time. I forgot about that. You got off.
No, I wasn't. Dang Lizard, 2 pounds. I saw some video. You're bigger than I thought, Blind Mike.
It's very hurtful.
Keep paying though to do this. It's fine.
I like the idea that like I wasn't aware. Like, oh, jeez. Oh, no. Thank you for telling me.
Dang Lizard again, 5 pounds. Skinny Chad is great, and I'm not saying that just because he asked me my pants size on Twitter.
Great guy. Oh, he was wearing hamburger pants around his, like a cape. And Justin asked me, are those the pants he sent Carl? To which I said, I don't know. But if Carl put the pants on and took a picture and then mailed them back to Skinny Chad, he deserves everything. Whatever he gets, he deserves. So I got to assume it's a second pair of pants.
Jonathan Mardukas sent 99 cents with no message.
Thank you, buddy.
Jonathan Mardukas sent $9.99.
Probably made a mistake the first time, but
I didn't see that. I can vouch for Carl. There was a meetup the night before, and there was definitely some quote, "Will Blind Mike be there? I love him," to Carl. I know because one was my wife.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Mrs.
That is true. I forgot they went to Cisco Breweries here in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I forget, like, even I'm getting a little old for the Seaport. And so when they asked me, like, where should you go in Boston? I was like, the Seaport's great. And they were like, it was like 20-year-olds, or 21, I guess. And it was packed to the gills.
Sounds fun.
They're like, where the fuck did you send us? I was like, oh, whoops. It's also a place I would never want to be on a Friday night.
No.
So it's funny that they ended up there. But
yeah. KFT, $2. Tom, take a toaster bath. Craig, loose Gunt says hi.
You know Lose Gunt?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that I disavow what he said to Tom. That's
That's terrible.
Dominic, $2. I almost missed a Craigers episode.
Well,
and KFT, $2. Blind, that's nice. Blind Mike can't see calories in a menu. Apparently,
it's the same guy.
Yes,
that's very hurtful.
He's very mean. I think it's time for the king.
Oh, I thought I was going to say we already talked about the king, Tom Myers, but this is a different king.
Yes.
This is a self-appointed king, King Azoulay. So Too Lazy to Try did a video about him this week that kind of got my attention. Then Carl mentioned him the other day. So I thought there was a chance we were talking about him last night, and we did not. So I figured we got to talk about him today because I think we might have a new one here. I think we might have a new regular guy to follow. This King Azoulay is fascinating. I'm not usually interested in these alpha male guys.
The bro culture dudes.
Yeah, I guess John Sirasani is kind of like that, but there's more to him. He's more complex. But so like Andrew Tate and Wes Watson and those guys have never really caught my eye. But what I do love is a liar. And I know there's elements of that with Wes Watson. But I love a guy. Like, we all understand little lies. Like, hey, are you coming out Saturday night? No, my kid's sick. You know, like we've all done lies like that. That's totally above board.
Mm-hmm.
What I love is a guy that commits to a lie that no one from jump could ever believe.
Yeah.
Like, I love a guy that's so hyperbolic that there's no chance of you believing his story, but he just commits to it. So this is Ben Azoulay. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But he goes by King Azoulay because he's a descendant of King Solomon. So he feels he was rightful heir to that throne.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's hear a little bit about him. I know, like I said, Too Lazy to Try covered him this week. Craig asked me before the show, he goes, do you think he's at all inspired by Andrew Tate? And I said, well, I guess you only watched the clips that I sent, because if you watched the full video, you'd have seen a closing monologue about how the Tate brothers are innocent.
Yes.
So fair to say, I think I think he's somewhat inspired or influenced by the Tate brothers. So I went back a couple years. I went to one of the very early videos he posted where he kind of gives us the rundown of who he is. He introduces himself to the internet here. So I thought this would be a good place to start. It seems like there's plenty to talk about with King Azoulay. over the years, but this is a good place to start where he gives us his biography, basically.
So my name is Ben Azoulay. I was born in the United States, 1990, May 8th. I'm a Taurus, very solid sign.
One of the best signs.
I got to be honest. I was born May 9th. I'm also a Taurus. He's right.
That's a top 6 sign. It's in the upper half.
He's correct.
We know what we want in life. We go out there and we get it. So my mother, we lived in Israel. And before I was born, she came through Mexico to have me here so I could have an American passport.
So you didn't live in Israel.
And
yeah, this is all very confusing.
When we arrived here and I was born,
when we arrived,
my mother didn't want to stick around because some of my family members were working with Pablo Escobar. Didn't want to have any part of it. So we went back to Israel. And we came back here when I was 3.
There's a lot of, if you have the map out, there's a lot of red lines going back and forth here.
Israel, Mexico, United States, Israel, Cuba, I guess.
I like that when his mom is venturing from Mexico to America, he kind of feels like he was part of the journey. Like she was pregnant, so he's like, we did it together.
Kindergarten, and it didn't really work out for us. My dad didn't know what he was going to do with his life. And obviously you're out of your elements. They wanted to go back to Israel, so we went back. One of the biggest...
These people can't make up their fucking mind. Imagine you're like, all right, we're going to Mexico. We're going to America. We're going to Israel. We started in Israel. Now we're back in Israel.
They keep taking their life savings and being like, fuck, let's start over.
That's an exhausting process to be like, all right, now that my numbers come in, we're starting life in America. 2 years, they're like, nah, never mind. Let's head back to Israel.
Some of my family members were kidnapped by Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's this is where you start to see, and of course that's possible. I'm sure Pablo Escobar had a very big working staff back in the day. I'm sure he had a lot of soldiers. So maybe that's possible, but that's where you start to say, okay, that's interesting. You don't hear that a lot. That's interesting. So maybe he's got some specific stories or something about Pablo Escobar. He doesn't really. It's a very, very loose affiliation, yet Pablo Escobar was very invested in his family. So it's interesting. He knows so much, yet so little about the affiliation with Pablo Escobar. So that's where you start to raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, you know Pablo Escobar. He spends a lot of time with people so poor, and they keep spending all their money on Israeli United States travel. He interacted with them a lot.
Well, Andy's like, we had to go back to Israel because Pablo Escobar. It's like, so Pablo Escobar was tracking down the cousins of people that were in his gang that he didn't know were in America. Like, how is he getting this deep into it?
I have no idea. And
also they're working for him. So why are they afraid of him? It was a little confusing.
Here's the other thing. He said he moved back when he was 3, right?
Yes.
And then he was born in 1990.
Yeah.
Escobar died in 93.
Well, that they got away right in the nick of time.
But then he said he came. I don't know, something about he's in kindergarten and his family was kidnapped by him.
It might be one of those things like when Morley Safer retired, he died like a week later, when Pablo Escobar lost the rush of chasing the Azoulis. He just said, I don't have any more fight in me.
He was just gunned down on that roof.
Yeah. He said, take me here. Also, the music really makes this.
I love it.
The music is showing you what a journey he's had.
I was going to see if it was going to continue before I
it's the whole time. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
He's the new kid.
Yeah, so it's got to be tough. You're in school and you're, thrice over the new kid where, you were here for as a baby, then you left and go to Israel, then you come back and then you go back to Israel. You're the new kid a lot in school. So that's got to be difficult.
So it was very hard for me to make the transition. Also, the kids always laughed at me. I didn't speak the language. I wore tight clothes.
So he's back in America now. It
Everybody
sticks.
wore tight jeans and tight shirts.
He wore tight jeans and tight shirts at
Everybody called
3.
me gay. Also, I had long hair.
No, he's 6, you asshole.
Oh, obviously, I didn't understand them at the time, but when everybody were laughing,
Hold on, go back a little bit. I'm sorry, we stepped on something there. I want to hear the description of the kid that was getting picked on in school. Let's hear how he portrays himself again.
so it was very hard for me to make the transition. Also, the kids always laughed at me. I didn't speak the language. I wore tight clothes. I came from a place that everybody wore tight jeans and tight shirts. Everybody called me gay. I also had long hair.
Hold on. First of all, I happen to live with someone who has told me this story that like kids are just very mean. Like, so if a kid doesn't speak English, they're not like, oh, he's from a different country. They're just like dicks about it.
Mhm.
So that part I absolutely believe. The part I don't know that I believe is that they were like, look at how hot he is. Look at his tight jeans and beautiful flowing locks.
That means he's gay.
I didn't understand them at the time, but when everybody were laughing, I knew they were laughing at me. So ever since the age of 7,
How do you know they're calling you gay if you don't speak the language?
There's so many holes.
Hey, if you don't believe us now, if you're like, hey, Mike, you're nitpicking, wait till we hear a little more about the guy.
Yeah.
Kwandu. And I was very good at martial arts, and I would always work out. I had a good build, right? Even as a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah. Look at that hunky 6-year-old. He's jacked.
He's not gay. He's strong.
I wouldn't fuck with this little muscle man.
This guy is awesome.
Was really nicely built.
You know the guy Brock Major's entire season 2 were like, yeah, he's awesome. He's a fucking piece of shit.
I like the phrasing. I was really nicely built. Like, have you ever met Craig? You would know better than anyone. Have you ever met a 6-year-old where you're like, let me hang on to those pythons?
Yeah, just all the moms are like, this is the kid that like all the teachers fuck.
You are ripped.
You know what? You put together pretty nicely.
But
like when Ike from South Park was on steroids.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
It was different because fighting in Israel and fighting in the United States is different. If I had a fight in the class in Israel, they would just put us aside and then talk to us.
Oh, in your corners, boys.
Like that over here.
Yeah.
I kicked a few kids in the stomach, kicked a kid in the head. I was like 10 and a half or 11. And then nobody talked to me anymore. But I didn't get.
Look out for this fucking kid.
He's just spin kicking everyone's heads off.
He's jacked and he knows how to use those muscles. This is like fucking Roadhouse.
This isn't going to be good for the people that like to call us fat. Is us being like, look at all this guy.
Yeah, we just don't understand such a jacked lifestyle.
Sure, we don't get it. We don't get the eyeballs.
I got taken out of school, suspended for about a week.
That seems pretty light.
I know. If you're spin kicking people in the head.
Hey, take a week. Think about what you did.
Yeah, it's paid time off, essentially.
The other kid's in a coma because he said you were gay.
He ever laughed at me again. But when I spoke English at the age of 12, it was even harder for somebody to say something. But
they did. He said we missed it there a little bit because nobody ever laughed at me again. Then when I spoke English, they said even less. It's like, well, what if they stopped saying anything? How could they have stopped saying it more when you talked English?
That's the thing, though, is like the way to stop a bully is to kick him in the teeth.
You said talked English, so I can't really comment on any of this.
It sounds like this guy is the bully, though, at the same time. He's
beating the shit out of it. This is like Never Back Down. Like, he's just going in.
Yeah.
It's constant fight. It's the new season of Cobra Kai, where it's like, how are these fights constantly happening?
You can go back on Patreon and watch that movie.
Never Back Down, that's right.
Yeah.
People really understand things better when they get a fist in their face. They just act different.
The creed of all 10-year-olds.
Exactly.
And I continued with my martial arts skills. I went into all types of martial arts.
I just picture a kid who can't speak English going to school in a gi with a belt on, just like.
We said your shirt is gray. What are you doing?
He's just busting everyone open because they're learning colors because they're 6.
I'm not sure who the real victim is in this story, because sure, getting bullied at 10 years old, it's a traumatizing thing. It sticks with a lot of people for a lot of years. But is the correct punishment, hey, you're gay, and that kid gets his fucking block knocked off?
From Kung Fu to Muay Thai to kickboxing to Krav Maga. And I left Taekwondo. It wasn't for me because...
Yeah, you really sound like you know what it is, Taekwondo.
Right, he's an expert. Taekwondo, Krav Maga.
Kung Fu.
Get in trouble. So, and I wanted to test my limits. But as I got older, you know, I went to different schools and I got kicked out of multiple schools because fighting was my go-to.
No one can handle this guy.
Not about me. Or
Well, now here's where it really starts. If you really think about it, this is where it starts getting a little murky. So he's 10 years old.
10 and a half.
10 and a half, maybe. A little more mature.
Yeah.
He starts knocking the shit out of kids. And so everyone knows we don't mess with this guy. No one says a word to him again. Why is he still getting in all these fights?
It's like a dog that like bites a kid and now they're just addicted to it.
Everyone's like, hey, don't fuck with this kid. And then he's just beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
They're like, hello, King. Good to see you. Your Highness. He bashes a lunch tray over their heads.
He's probably dressed up in like a glitter covered white t-shirt and everyone's like gay as hell.
Well, the shirts were so tight. In 2000 or 1999, whatever this is, what choice did they have if you were wearing such tight clothing?
I mean, that was gay as hell. You didn't have Jinko jeans or trip pants. You were super gay.
It's when being gay really meant something.
Yeah.
me, I tell them, let's fight. If they laugh, they get punched in the face. And that kind of
put your dukes up. Now, listen, I'm a non-confrontational guy. You say, hey, let's fight, and I go, come on. I'm getting a pop to the jaw?
Yes.
That seems harsh. This is a rough and tumble school.
Do you understand how many times this guy would punch me in the face? I can't stop laughing.
Even just nervously.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm like, you just hit me?
to a great place in life because, one, I was able to show how powerful I was. 2, I could take control over the room.
That's a big thing when you're 10. You're like, how do I own this room?
How do I walk in here and just demand respect?
How do I own the room like Chris Rock and Bigger and Blacker? Like that's what I need to do as a 10-year-old.
His teacher calls him king.
Your Highness?
People then just stopped laughing at me. And then we became friends. And most of the guys that I fought with became my best friends because they wanted me to look after them.
I can imagine.
But I always fought the guys who were the bullies. In school, my friend.
I gotta be honest, this guy sounds like the top bully.
Right. He's a menace.
Someone laughs and he gives him 2 black eyes.
He's a terror. And like he's fucking ripped, according to him, so no one's gonna fuck with him. No one looks at the jacked new kid and is like, well, I gotta fuck with this guy.
Obviously, I can't speak for when he was a child, but looking at him talk right now, he is gigantic.
But he's wearing skinny jeans. So by the comics code, I have to make fun of him.
Yeah,
even though he looks like he could rip my head off.
Judging by his shirt he's wearing, he takes 3 dicks in the ass every week.
I had a friend that was mentally challenged. I had 2 friends that were in a wheelchair.
Oh, hold on. Go back. Listen to this motley crew. This is where it gets confusing because he's like, the kids that bullied me became my friends. Here's a list of my friends. So it's a little confusing because it's like, were these the kids bullying you? Go back a little bit. Let's hear how he sets this up again.
The language barrier is just they can't speak. They're muted.
And then we became friends. And most of the guys that I fought with became my best friends because they wanted me to look after them.
Right.
But I always fought the guys who were the bullies. In school, I had a friend that was mentally challenged. I had 2 friends that were in wheelchair.
Doesn't it make it sound like he's fighting and befriending the retarded kid and the kid in the wheelchair?
What I take from this is the kid in the wheelchair accidentally ran over his foot and he fucked him up.
I think he's trying to say he was protecting these kids. But the way he phrases it is like, yeah, I beat the shit out of him and I became friends. Now listen to the Breakfast Club assortment of mongoloids that he's befriended here.
Because they wanted me to look after them. But I always fought the guys who were the bullies. In school, I had a friend that was mentally challenged. I had 2 friends that were in wheelchair. I had a friend that was a midget, and I was protecting them.
I would have been friends with this guy. It would have been like, we need one of you in our crew.
He just kicked this guy in the head and then become friends with him.
What a lunch table where it's the mentally challenged kid, the kid in the wheelchair, the midget, and the jacked, long-haired, handsome guy.
The jacked Jew.
That keeps beating the shit out of everybody.
Oh, this one's called Last Day.
Oh, so this was his last day in school where he decided, like, I can't live like this anymore. So I think he made it pretty deep into high school, but then it just got to be too much with all the ass whooping he was doing.
The principal looked at him cross.
And one day, there was 5 Mexican dudes trying to jump me in the bathroom. I beat the shit out of them. I left one of them with his head in the toilet. When I left school, the following day...
I gotta ask, what are the other 4 do? Well, you're giving this guy a swirly. Are the other 4 just laying on the ground? Like, why aren't they jumping in?
Taking on 5 guys and winning. Especially when he called them angry Mexicans or whatever he called them.
Taking on 5 guys and winning is impressive. But as we're going to hear later, that's nothing.
And one day, there was 5 Mexican dudes trying to jump me in the bathroom. I beat the shit out of them. I left one of them with his head in the toilet. When I left school, the following day, I came back. As I was leaving school, they came and they started shooting at me. And I started getting more violent.
Very little details on how he escaped the gunfire.
There was a firing squad. None of them touched me.
5 of them, based on the way he's telling the story, 5 of them circle him, try to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
He takes him 5-on-1.
Yeah.
I guess if you're trained enough, that is possible, right? Is that that's possible? Maybe
like tier 1, maybe.
Right. Well, you heard he's done kung fu, so he knows his stuff. I guess he could take on 5 guys. Then they come back with weaponry. Now the 5 men the next day are granted bloodied, bruised, and still drying their hair from the swirly they got. But
he's poo dreadlocks.
Yeah, but they've got weapons now. They've got guns. So let's hear how this. It sounds like he's talking to us from beyond the grave because this is obviously where he met his demise.
That's why the music's playing this way.
Yeah.
It started getting more violent, and if they can't beat you by hands, those 5 of them, and they had to use some other force, which was guns. So that was the last time I went back to school.
What? There's no story about if I escaped gunfire. That's all I'm talking about.
People at once.
That's all I'm talking. If 5 men are shooting at me and I'm tiptoeing through the raindrops, I'm dancing around those bullets. That's all I'm talking about. I'm giving some details.
They were like, "There's that gay guy," and they started opening fire on me.
That's a militia going after him.
Yeah, it's a cadre.
Just gonna have to kill them. I don't want to hurt anybody that bad. It is what it is. It's time to get out of school. And I did.
Hey, let's call it a truce. I beat you guys up. You shot at me. Let's shake hands and walk away from this.
Anyways, those 5 guys were in my wedding party.
They're my best friends. So there's, if I'm trying to calculate this right, 5 guys jump him. They want him so bad. They circle him in the bathroom. They try to beat the shit out of him. They can't.
Right.
Next day, they're so fired up about this. They're like, "Get your guns, boys. We're taking this motherfucker down." He escapes that. So then the 5 guys are like, "All right, 0 for 2. You know what they say? 2 strikes and you give up." Like they just stopped looking for him after that.
He also made it sound like they just started opening fire in like the hallway of the school.
Right. I imagine maybe the parking lot. It did sound like it was at the school. He's like, "I returned next day to school and they opened fire on me."
I feel like this would be in the news.
One of the teachers is just like, "Hey, knock it off, you crazy kids. You don't want to get suspended again, do you?"
Unless this was Israel, in which case the teacher would just pull him aside and be like, "Guys, cut it out."
No, he's back in America, I do believe. So yeah, it's a little confusing why they would just give up. They're like, "We just can't beat this guy. I guess go home with our tails between our legs."
Next, we have Dad and God.
Yes, we hear about his father and his relationship with the Lord.
For me, looking back and thinking about the stories that I had with my dad, and my dad was a very tough guy. I mean, I'd wake up in the morning, with kicks to the head. My dad wasn't no martial artist.
Come on, bitch!
I wonder why he's just like, that's how he says hi in school. He just,
the world's worst alarm clock.
He just question marks kicks people after math class.
All right, get up. It's not, he doesn't say like my dad would kick me in the head when I misbehaved or when she stumbled home drunk or just, he would wake up and go, "All right, kid, time for school." Doink.
I would love to see this.
Now, the way he describes the rest of his relationship with his father, they worked together. He respects him a great deal. He's like, "My dad was the toughest guy, taught me everything I know. He would kick me in the head in the morning. He taught me carpentry." Like it's just a weird diversion. It's not this. He's not Tim McGraw in Friday Night Lights. It's just this like he was abusive in the mornings, and then once he had his coffee, he was fine.
So he's saying his dad was strict on him and taught him carpentry.
Yes.
I hope he compares himself to Jesus.
Well, in a roundabout way.
Nah, come on.
A fucking punching bag from time to time. But I could tell you that that's what toughened me up because I'm also a tough soul. You can't really break me. You'd have to kill me. There's no way of breaking me. I'm not afraid of no man and I'm not afraid of anybody.
And you can't even really kill him. He escaped bullets from 5 guns.
I feel like he's going to get up and have Jimmy from South Park crutches. Like,
you can't break me. You'd have to kill me. You also can't kill me.
Only love in my heart, and it's to one piece of this world, and it's God. I'm not afraid of God either. I love God. Whenever
you hear that, God? You bitch.
You pussy.
I never heard anyone do like, hey, it's you just got to respect the Lord. And by the way, I'm not afraid of that coward. So make no mistake about it.
If you read the beginning of the Bible, the people start not listening to God and betraying him. So he kills everyone that's alive on the planet.
Well, this guy, he listens. He just don't give a fuck.
I'm just not afraid of
him. I will go gladly. There's nothing here in this world that they haven't done. I've had it all. And that's also why I'm here telling you guys all of this. This is why I'm doing this. It's because I've had it all. I've been all around the world. I've seen probably every beautiful spot in the world, every vacation, every woman.
Sounds like you just moved there.
Every kind of food.
Every woman.
Every kind of.
See, I'm not gay.
He goes, every woman I've tasted, and then he goes to food. It's like, well, you really went down there. It was. That's not as eating squid is not as impressive as fucking women around the country.
He's got like one of those sex passports.
Car. There's nothing that impresses me anymore. Today, everything that I do is for you guys. I don't do it for anybody
else. This guy
else.
is gay.
It really doesn't matter anymore. And I'm not looking for anybody to sit there and clap for me and say, great job.
Well, we're doing it anyways. Too bad. Imagine making this video and then going, I'm not looking for any applause here. I'm just telling you that I was a jacked 6-year-old who conquered English, escaped gunfire, fucked pussy around the world, went on every vacation. I'm just the man. I'm not looking for your praise, by the way. I'm going on this rant to help you.
Just name this episode Jack 6-year-old and people be like, what the fuck is this?
And I'm not looking for anybody to sit there and clap for me and say, great job, King Azoulay, you're the man. No. I'm looking for you guys to tell me, hey, King Azoulay, you helped me find the king inside of me.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's what we're all telling you. No one's laughing at you, King. We're all like, hey, you helped me find the king. That's what's douchey about inspirational people.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, I don't get inspiration from someone who goes, hey, just so you know, I'm about to inspire you. You know, like that way, like Gary V and all these guys, or Tony Robbins, where they're like, hey, we're inspiring you right now. We're giving you, we're motivating you. It's like, no, just say something and maybe I'll glean motivation from it. Don't tell me you're about to inspire me.
This talks about being homeless.
Yeah, so another tough upbringing. I feel like all these guys were homeless at one time. I feel like that's what made them so great. You know, somehow we miss these homeless guys in the street. They're usually toothless crack addicts, but every once in a while you get a King Azoulay living on the lam.
I bet jacked Muay Thai black belts would get a lot of money on the side of the street.
Yes, definitely.
So at the age of 17, my dad told me I had to leave the house. You know, I like.
You're just too jacked, son. Get out.
I like to talk back.
That's why his dad he just sleeps at the bottom of the stairs, this guy. That's why his dad kept kicking him in the head. He's like, son, you got to go. You're in my way all the time. I try to have a nice relationship with you, but you got to beat it.
So he's been holding a cigar this entire time. I have not seen him puff on it once.
Well, it symbolizes winning. He's a winner, so he deserves a cigar. You know,
Symbolizes Andrew Tate.
Oh, damn. One other thing, just there's no, if you watch this, there's no real like reason his dad kicks him out of the house. He's just like, I was kind of getting too awesome, so my dad was like, you don't deserve a roof anymore. But they still work together. So dad kicks him out of the house, and then they're still partners in a business together. They're still like contractors or whatever the fuck they do.
Much of a smart ass. I'm a strong guy, but I'm also very smart.
So get out.
Very high IQ.
That's all. That's the story of all. If you go up to your local homeless guy and you're like, how'd you end up on the street? He's like, I was so sarcastic and so jacked that my father kicked me out of the house.
I feel like I'm gonna have to like shotgun a beer if he ever touches this cigar.
And to be confrontational was something that was very easy for me to do, and it was like second nature to me. So at 17, he said, you know what, you got to get the fuck out of here. And he kicked me out of the house, and I went homeless for a little bit. But he
went homeless. Like it's a lifestyle choice.
Until I, walked into someone random. I walked up to them and I was like, give me your keys.
This is my house now.
This is my house now.
Done for me, because as the person that I am, when I struggle and when I go through hard times, that's exactly when I grow, under pressure.
Oh, how convenient.
I don't grow by sitting around hanging out. I need pressure. That's why I run 16 businesses worldwide, because I need the pressure. I need constantly. It's like
so he claims to be worth $500 million. There's no real evidence of that, I don't think. But
if he was worth that much money, that would be documented somewhere.
He does have. So I heard Too Lazy to Try say his videos don't get a ton of views or anything. Maybe he was talking about other podcasts he goes on, because his channel does okay. It has like almost 500,000 subscribers, and the videos do like okay. Like this had, I think, 50 or 60,000 views or something. So it's not insignificant.
Right.
Inside of me.
This is also like 2 years old or something like that.
Right. True.
And it's with that, I create something called an infinite intelligence, where I'm able to delegate hundreds of people at the same time. And I'm able to run multiple businesses at the same time while I keep myself in shape. I keep myself fit. I work on my body. So him kicking me out of the house was the best thing he could have ever done for me.
It seems like you should remain homeless to this day, just to stay sharp.
Yeah.
It seems like you need this adversity.
My dad was so awesome. He just said, "Get out," without a
But there's never any explanation. It's hard to be inspired by this guy. Listen, I'd like to be jacked and worth $500 million too. Who wouldn't? But it's hard to be inspired by this guy because he just goes, yeah, so my dad making me homeless is the reason that I'm so smart. It's like, could you elaborate on that a little more? It's like, no, just being homeless. Like, I work with adversity, so now I own 16 businesses and I have a lot of money and I'm really sharp. It's like, yeah, but do all homeless people have? I don't get. What do you mean? Like, just because you were homeless, you became Mark Cuban? I don't understand.
That's right.
Got out. Within 3 months, I found myself.
Okay. That wasn't
Good.
3 months.
That's a pretty quick turnaround. 3 months on the street, you're out. That's not a bad sentence.
My guess is he just like still went home for food.
Yeah. I don't think he was like true homeless the way we know it to be. You know, I don't think he was sleeping in his own shit because he needed the pants he was wearing.
No, he was couch hopping, sleeping in his car. You know, all those homeless people with vehicles. This sounds real.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet this is another real detail of his life that he is describing here.
He's ashing his cigar without smoking it right now.
Well, you don't want to. The first time he takes a hit, you don't want it to be ashy.
Something that I did leave out, and I'm not talking about, is that I had family members that were big gangsters, and I really wanted to be in that world.
Oh,
This is something he's not talking about, by the way. Here's another thing I'm not discussing. My families were massive gangsters.
And I wanted to do it.
Fighting, and people were respecting me. I then went into the world of doing underground fights, and doing underground fights was amazing for me because I fought people that were much older than me. I was 16 years old.
So now we've gone back in time. This is while he still has a home. It's before he gets kicked out of the house. He's 16 and he's fighting adults in some underground ring of illicit fighting.
And whooping all their asses, I bet.
Anytime that someone uses the phrase underground, I'm a little skeptical.
He's one of those guys that's just like, I never lost a fight.
Well, he didn't, as we're going to hear.
Oh, good.
$2,000 to $3,000 a fight. I got my ass kicked one time.
Oh, he lit it.
In my life. I was 13 years old. I got jumped by about 30 guys. At a house party.
I mean, the odds. He was destined to lose that one. I got to say, if you told me, and I'm not a gambler, and I'm not a fight expert by any means, but if you came to me and said, Mike, we got 30 guys versus a 13-year-old, who you taking? I'd go, I don't know. It seems like a trick question the way you're asking me, but I think I'm going to go with the 30 guys.
Like, does the 13-year-old have a weapon? No. What about the 30 guys? We don't know.
No, they're all armed and dangerous.
He's just doing cartwheels and the bullets are missing him.
They're mafia members or still work for Pablo Escobar. We're not exactly sure, but they're dangerous guys.
He's about to be like, the Born Supremacy was written after me.
Say what you want about gangsters. You don't hear a lot of stories of 30 of them circling an innocent 13-year-old and kicking the shit out of him.
No, that was usually off limits. Women and children.
Yeah, I don't know.
I purchased an Uzi. Nobody ever jumped me again.
Hold on, that's not true. So this is when he's 13. He got an Uzi, so no one ever jumped him again. Then a couple years later, when he gets kicked out of high school, it's because 5 Mexican guys jumped him. He's unarmed, and they all have guns.
Mike, do you know what kind of firearms I own?
I don't.
That's crazy because I don't understand how anyone else would know he's got one.
That's a good point.
We can't jump him. He's got an Uzi.
He is a guy that is showing it off, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know an Uzi. It doesn't sound like something that nicely lays on your belt buckle, but
It sure doesn't.
but I imagine he's the type that was showing it off if he had one. Now, hold on. How does a 13-year-old that barely speaks English he gets a hold of an Uzi, but his dad is beating the shit out of him and he's always in trouble at school. How does he not get caught with this thing?
That's probably why his dad's beating the shit out of him. He's coming home with like black eyes, busted lips, and guns.
You're not using them right. You're not using the guns right.
Get out of my house.
But it's tough. I would tell King Azoulay, like, if you're going to be in the business of lying, you got to get him straight where you can't tell the story about the 5 Mexican guys jumping you and then shooting at you. You can't tell that before the only fight you ever lost was to 30 guys and then you got a gun and no one ever fought you again. It just doesn't line up. It's not good writing.
Party. After that, I purchased an Uzi. Nobody ever jumped me again.
Except the guys that did.
They never said anything again. I was ready to die, and I was ready to take everybody with me.
Oh, God.
That was my mentality. So I started doing underground fights at about the age of 15.
Uzi strapped to me. That's how I won all the fights.
That's how he won. He's like, I got $2,000 to $3,000 a night. He's just robbing the people betting.
I imagine if this is an underground fight league of some kind, I can imagine a lot of the competitors are older than 15.
I would imagine.
So that's pretty impressive that at the age of 15, he was whooping ass at the level he claims and making $2,000-$3,000 a pop on all these fights.
He was wearing a really tight gay shirt. Don't forget.
Oh, I'm sure that made them so furious.
I'll take him out. Next, we have the mob. I'm going to hate this one.
Yeah, you probably are. Let's just hear it.
The way it started, I was at a hookah bar. And there was a group of guys.
The mob was always hanging out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Also important to remember, he's our age. He's a year older than me.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like,
younger than me.
Hey, Mike, you want to go to a hookah bar? I don't know. Is it mobbed up? You think we'll be safe?
And I used to look at people to see if they're looking at me. I thought everybody was against me. So I got into it with some of these guys, and I ended up beating the fuck out of 6 of them. They were all older than me.
Like, this guy just goes to 7-Eleven to get a goddamn ginger ale, walks out with bloody knuckles, and like 5 people are on the ground.
It's an action movie. It's like everywhere this guy goes, there's a group of skilled fighters, but not that skilled, ready to take him on.
Fake tough guys, I guess.
But why is he fighting them and taking them all out here? Did he explain that?
Because it sounds like he provoked them, because he's like, I go in there, I stare at everyone because I assume they're out to get me. Anyways, I beat them up.
They're out to get me. So I kick the shit out of them. I slam one's face off the bar.
I was at a hookah bar, and there was a group of guys, and I used to look at people to see if they're looking at me. I thought everybody was against me. So I got into it with some of these guys, and I ended up beating the fuck out of 6 of them.
Again, he's the bad guy here.
He's been the bad guy in the only thing that's almost redeeming. The only thing that he said is like his motley crew of misfit toys that are his friends.
Yeah, but it seemed like he had to beat them up in order to earn their trust.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get jumped into every gang.
Sure, I understand.
A guy pulls out a gun and tells me to stop.
But guns don't stop me.
I forgot I had my Uzi.
Yeah, again, he said no one ever jumped him again after he purchased that Uzi. This is the second time he's been jumped by a large group of men.
I like how he said he kicked the fuck out of all of them, but one of them pulled out a gun and told him to stop. So it sounds like he kind of was on the wrong end of this one.
And kind of let him go for a little while where they're like, all right, let's keep this fair for a few rounds. Let's see if he can beat the shit out of all 6 of us. Then I'll pull out my gun if things get ugly.
Yeah, because the mob before cameras wouldn't just kill anyone right there on the spot.
No.
I'm going to say, shoot me. That was the time my mom got cancer. I wanted to die. And he goes,
it's funny to you?
Like, of course. Of course that's what happened.
Yeah, so the guy pulls out the gun. He points it at our friend King here. And King says, shoot me. And the guy's like, I wanted a challenge. I didn't want you to be in on it. I'm not gonna. All right, I'm not gonna shoot you. Swipe or no swiping, you know?
I'm not going to shoot you. What's your name? And I said, what the fuck are you to ask me my name? I said, shoot me. He said, no. I want you to be one of us.
You got balls, kid. So I told him my name was William Costigan Jr.
I was a Boston cop.
And we got in a conversation, and when he found out I was 15, he was shocked.
But you're so masculine.
Because I'm so jacked and my shirt's so tight.
You're so hot and sexy and strong.
In this video, he does look like he's wearing like a fifth grader shirt.
Well, they're not going to dictate how he dresses. That's what he overcame. He's like, I'm going to wear this shirt forever now.
I'm not going to mention his name, but we're talking somebody from the mob. And I started.
Fine, it's John Gotti.
Yeah.
So I started doing underground fights for him.
Yeah, that's what the mob does.
By the way, if it was in a hookah bar, like, I feel like this mob is just the group of people that call me and try to scam me for money.
I know that I keep resetting this, but I just want to give everyone the right visual here. So King Azoulay's in a bar. He's mean mugging everyone. They go, hey, you got a fucking problem? He goes, I got a fucking problem. He starts beating the shit out of these 6 guys. One of them pulls out a gun. He says, we can't take this guy with our fists. We need weaponry. Pulls out a gun. King Azoulay says, shoot me. He says, I ain't going to shoot you. I want to hire you. And then if I'm King Azoulay, I'm like, well, why'd you pull out the gun?
Because
I was already handling myself pretty well here.
That's how the mob works. Oh, God damn it. I hate this guy.
You've proven yourself to us.
That's how it is. You're not Italian, you're in.
Yeah, no, perfect. We were looking for an Israeli guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention his name, but we're talking somebody from the mob. And I started doing underground fights for him. I also was his bodyguard.
It'd be great if Sammy the Bull does an episode where he's like, oh, King Azoulay, great guy.
We're just like, fuck, everything he said was true.
He beat the shit out of 5 of my friends, but I knew to hire him.
That would be unbelievable. He's gone away.
Sammy the Bull, he still does stuff.
I saw a video get posted, but I'm pretty sure it was from like 3 years ago.
Oh, interesting. I thought I saw him live recently.
Oh, I don't know. I miss him.
Yeah, I think he was live recently. It was funny to hear him read super chats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He gets fooled by everyone's name.
And then it was a time that I felt very powerful.
You should. You're godlike.
He said that like 3 times this time. This whole video.
If all this is true, he should feel extremely powerful.
He really should. Now, this is our last video. It's him talking about women.
Let's hear how he's mastered the art of seduction.
His name was Vito Spatafor. That's very funny.
Because back in the day, men were men. So the woman didn't need to do anything. Also, men, when they wanted a woman, they like went to her father and said, hey, I'd like to ask for your daughter's hand. And they promised to stay with the woman and they gave her the world. And now you men just want to have fun and, take some girl's virginity and be done with her within a week.
What?
I got to tell you, before the show, Craig was like, this is the one that's true. This clip is absolutely true. Craig's always hunting virgins that he can discard in a week.
I do find it funny that he's like, he went from being like, I've tasted every woman from every country to this is terrible behavior.
He's so far off, and this is what I'm talking. Where he's like, this is a guy who's trying to be an influencer. Where a loser is like us, a fat loser like me, as I've been called.
Mm-hmm.
I should look at him and be like, how does he do it? But he's so far off on what people want. Where he's like, men now are just hunting virgins. It's like, what year do you think this is? If I met a virgin my age, I'd be like, what's wrong? Like, are you religious? It's very weird.
I think that would probably be the only explanation.
Really. Or it's something you don't want to find out about, most likely.
Right.
A woman that's a virgin, I'm going to marry her before even sleeping with her. My problem is...
Why?
too many idiot men out there that play too many women, and these women, they just want to find love. They're being hopelessly romantic because a woman wants love. She doesn't need sex.
So you can tell he's a player.
She doesn't need to come, only me.
So I buy the virgins. What King Azoulay? I like the cut of his jib. You guys let me know, because I think this might be one to follow going forward. He's a very interesting character, and like I said, I'm curious to find out more of his lies, because Too Lazy to Try laid out that there's a plethora.
We got a few super chats.
Okay.
Manny Musk gets $2. Just
I
waking
met
up.
I met him last night.
Did you? Just woke up is what he said.
Manny Muskets opened the show and brought Carl and Dick on stage.
Oh,
did a good job.
Steve Morton, $5. This one time, Russian mobsters broke into my house and killed my dog and stole my car, so I had to call King Azoulay. I did see someone call him John Whack.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see what happens when his daughter gets taken. It is. Those men made a big mistake.
I'm going to find you. I'm going to kick you in the head. And Don Fried Chicken, $5. Mike Hawk in the chat said he is the Jewish version of Bert's the Machine Bit.
Oh, interesting. But at least, like, the Machine Bit is believable in the sense that it's Bert's personality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like, this feels like a guy trying to be somebody, and that's why it comes off so disingenuous.
Right. Where do you want to go next? Opie?
Should we talk about the Opester?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk a little Opester. Oh, I don't know if you saw our segment last week talking about Opie, but technical difficulties have become a theme on the Opie Radio podcast.
Oh, yeah?
So he had Ron the Waiter on, and we couldn't fucking hear him. Now he has a slightly bigger guest, Jackie the Joke Man Martling from Howard Stern. At this point, there was a time where I actually would have been interested in hearing these two guys talk. Mm-hmm. They've done a bunch of podcasts together. I don't really give a shit about hearing Jackie bitch that Stern didn't pay him enough, or Opie try to goad him into being like, hasn't Howard changed? It's like, we've heard all that. But, you know, two radio legends, like, legitimately getting together. So for this one, you would think like Opie's going to test the sound out for the show. But sure enough, again, if it's we've had stuff like this happen. If it's halfway through the show and the guest wasn't there, but he comes in and then his mic doesn't work, that's not Opie's fault. You know, like, I get it. Opie starts, says nothing for 2.5 minutes. And then is like, oh, let's get Jackie the Joke Man in here. Oh, shit, your mic doesn't work. So again, he's got fucking technical difficulties here.
And we got, who else we got? We got Beautiful Day. Can't wait to see how he complains about it. John Sealing of Lies. This is what I do to John Sealings of Lies. Goodbye, you're banned.
That's going to be a theme of the day, by the way. We're not there quite. But he will go on a blocking spree in another episode. So that's not a one and done for Opie, blocking people that make fun of him.
Who else do we have? We have this man, Jackie the Joke.
He dropped
What
that.
happened, Jackie? There he is. Wait, no, Jackie the Joke Man's trying to figure it out. Okay, we're going to have Jackie the Joke Man on in a second. You saw him pop on the screen. He's fiddling about. Hopefully we'll have him on the live stream in moments. All right. We got Billy Buzz Smith.
I will say Opie finally figured out having a microphone is better than not.
Well, yes, but there's still a weird thing where Opie can never tell how the guest's audio sounds. It's the weirdest thing where he like has to trust the chat. He chooses to trust the chat, and then he's like, I bet the chat is fucking with me. It's like, well, they're your only system.
Well, if he can hear him, then it's good.
Or is it? We'll examine.
Yes, what's up, Billy Buzz? Good morning. Hope have a great weekend. Yeah, hope you have a very, very good weekend as well. All that fog finally burned off. Yes, Andy Vollen. Yes. All right, let's try this again. Jackie the Joke Man, are you there, sir?
I think I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound a little low. Is it me, though? Maybe it's me. Say hi again.
Hello there. Hold on.
You sound a little low in the mix there, Jackie. I'm not sure if it's on your end or if it's on my end, but
he's using
obviously
AirPods.
great to see you.
I hate Bayville and Long Island. The connections are just so horrible.
Now it sounds much worse, so that's good.
I should be loud and clear if I'm not.
All right. Maybe John Courts, who I can trust. Some of these people in the chat you can't trust, Jackie. So the people that I can trust.
Can you hear him or not?
If he can hear him, he's having a full-blown conversation with him.
Right, he's always like, I don't know. The chat is telling me I can't hear you, but it seems like I can. So I don't know who to believe.
I mean, if you can do the show, you can fix it after as like worst case scenario.
You can, or you could test it before. By the way, this is 2 minutes into the show, as I said. Like
True.
he could have just started the show with Jackie and been like, hey, could you test your audio for me?
He's also outside on the ocean. He's probably gonna have a hard time hearing everybody.
Jackie, your wind is too the waves crashing at your place are too loud.
How are you, my friend? It's been a minute, huh?
I am. It's been a while.
Jackie, could you adjust one of the knobs? It sounds like kids are playing on the beach.
I'm
having a hard time.
Can you get the seagulls out of your office?
Are those on your end or mine?
But everything is pretty groovy, you know.
Yeah.
Jackie, the chat is telling me your office is too windy. I can't tell if they're lying to me or not. But
problem solved here.
Okay, good. So now they keep trying to fix it, and obviously just rely on the chat. They're not going to fuck with you at all.
No.
You know, farting around, doing all the regular stuff. You know, I guess I'm supposed to be a lot older, but I don't feel it. You know.
Yeah, they're saying your audio's low there, Jackie. they're definitely saying it's very, very low.
All right, hold on.
They're definitely saying it's low. There's no mystery. That's good.
Does that help?
That's it right there. What button didn't you have turned on?
Hold on. Who gives a shit?
No shit. They're
all anything more uninteresting. What button did you press? Who cares?
They are very obviously just fucking with them.
Of course. I will say this. Now I'm listening with headphones.
Mm-hmm.
When I grabbed these clips, I was listening. I think I had ear pods in, and it sounded different.
Yeah.
So I think depending on how you're listening, he does sound low. So maybe some people were trying to help. But either way, like Opie, go with your gut here.
He sounds low, but Opie's talking into a microphone, and he's talking into Apple headphones.
Two guys that were on the most legendary comedy radio shows of all time.
Yeah.
You just can't figure this out.
Earphones plugged in.
Oh, okay.
My stupid iPad, the signal is crummy out here. So
yeah,
if it's fixed, let's not belabor it.
All right, they're saying it's better. They'll let me know. They let me know everything. But
I like that Jackie's like, Opie, who gives a shit? Move on.
Jackie at least has the right attitude. He's like, if you can hear me, we'll fucking talk. If not, I'm done. And Opie's like, they'll let me know. My boss is in the chat. We'll let me know if it's good enough.
But that was that. Now this is the beginning of the second video.
Okay, yeah. So I saw our boy Kyle talk about this. Unique posted a video that I said I got to go to this Father's Day episode of the Opester because it seemed pretty good. It seemed pretty juicy. So Opie woke up on Father's Day. I guess he snuck away before the family was ready to celebrate him. I'm sure the kids were, making pancakes for him and everything. They were ready to celebrate Dad. But he snuck away to talk to his buddies on the Opie live stream.
What's up, Don, off the Facebook? You two Opster golfing with the Daddy-O today. Wish you could caddy, LOL. I would love to go back to caddying. Oh, my, it probably, and you're going to be like, you're crazy, but, had the big, giant, massive, popular radio show, but I think my favorite job of all time was being a caddy at the Huntington Crescent Club.
He has talked about being a caddy since I remember listening to the Opie and Anthony show.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at it like that was his real passion. That was what he should have been doing all these years is caddying. I'm not a golfer. Do they pretty much only hire like young guys or kids?
No, it depends where you're at. like the nicer the club, the more you'll have people that will help you with distances and reading greens and like all that stuff. But if you look at like the movie Caddyshack is probably more realistic, where it's just like a bunch of high schoolers just holding your back for you.
Because I was gonna say Opie could caddy.
He could.
He could just, if he loved it so much, he could go back and do it. But he taught, and I remember people used to call the Opie and Anthony show. And I forget what like the arguments would be, but basically people would be like, "Oh, Opie's never worked a real job in his life, and he's talking about this or that." And Opie would go, "I've worked real job. I would caddy at 6 a.m." And it's like, oh, okay, sorry. So you're a regular. He's gonna explain how he's a regular Joe here. Do you remember Jim Norton's character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if this sounds familiar to you at all when he describes what caddying was like.
The sun, going to the local deli, getting a thing of orange juice with a buttered roll,
container of coffee,
your ass off because the sun's not up yet. Then the sun would come up and warm up everything. And then you're basically on the course as the sun is rising above the trees. Oh, it was glorious until you had a, caddy for some hacks that were cheap. Then it sucked. That's for sure.
So is it about the money or the environment, Opie?
Opie peaked at 16 or whatever he was.
Yeah.
Where even like by his own recollection, he's like, sure, I had the radio show, but the happiest time in my life was when I was caddying. It's like, I don't know, just go do it. Couldn't you work? There's some job that Opie could have at a golf course or something, right? Like,
yeah.
Or join a country club. Do something. Like,
enough money.
Every day he's just wandering the streets of Harlem and going, black guy, Chinese lady.
We will get into that. What was the name of this one? This is him doing voices for some fucking reason.
No, it's him. He's done voices plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Opie's got a new sing-songy way of talking, as has been covered in detail. And someone mentions that on his stream, and this is where the real vitriol starts. This is where the disgust with the chat begins, when someone suggests that he does wacky voices.
And remember, this is Father's Day morning.
Yes.
I love the new format. It reminds me of Walton and Johnson with all the different voices. Oh, I do voices, Legends of Louisiana. All right, thank you, love. You know what? I'm getting rid of you. Stupid.
Listen to the way he's saying that. Does he not see the irony? And he's like, oh, I do voices there, John. Okay, I'm getting rid of you. I'm getting rid of you.
I gotta be honest. I love this format.
Opie's format?
Yeah.
Just blocking the chat?
He reads a comment he hates and he's like, you're fucking gone.
Well, this is him saying, like, hey, Carl, Stuttering John's away. I got you, buddy. I'll take over John's format. You know what I mean? Like, this is what John would do that drew people to him, is just read nasty comments. Or not, by the way, that wasn't that nasty.
No.
If you don't know, Walton and Johnson was a show Opie and Anthony covered on Jocktober years ago.
Right.
Or maybe it was before Jocktober. It was just a radio war. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they were a show that they went after, and they made fun of them because they were like wacky characters or something. And now someone was like, hey, you're doing a lot of voices, Ope. Love it. They were probably being sarcastic, but also like maybe not. You know, like in Opie's world, they were definitely being sarcastic, and I would tend to agree with them. But Opie has dug himself into a hole where even he doesn't believe compliments. He's like, no, there's no way that's true. But that was pretty mild. He's like, hey, you remind me of this show that did silly voices. And, okay, you're blocked. That's it. You're out of here. And it's like, Opie, there's 35 people watching. Maybe cherish them.
You're just stupid. Bye. Goodbye now.
Why? That's not. I've seen a lot of stupid comments in my day.
Yeah.
Why is him being like, hey, your voices remind me of the Walton and Johnson show? You're stupid. You don't have intelligence.
Well, let's hear him talk with the Gephardt's crew.
Oh, good. Well, I think someone else is cruising for a block, because you don't get to smash the Gephardt's crew and get away with it.
I do appreciate, too little too late in his career, having his guys back. He should have done it, when he was making millions.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Autism. You've got it.
This guy doesn't do voices. What was that other guy talking about? That's just his natural way of speaking.
Yeah, he's trying to do the Texas rattlesnake there.
Matt and all those other losers from Get Parts from your live stream. It's ruining your channel. No, I'm not doing that. What I am going to do is drop you. Goodbye. Literally banned. Goodbye. Because it's people.
I don't realize. Read the chat again. He's saying you're the best part of your show. You've finally done it. You've put such untalented freaks around you that people are like, hey, they're dragging you down, Ope. You're the talent, my man. It's what he's always dreamed of.
I'm surprised he wasn't like, yeah, I know, but I'm not doing that.
This is like if people were calling in and going, I can't stand when Anthony and Jimmy get on these tangents and just start riffing. I wish Opie would go to the phones more. Opie, I really like when you go to the phones. Like, it's what he always dreamed of. They're like, Opie, you're the shining star. Don't let them dim you. And he's like, you're blocked.
That are trying to ruin shit. So you're gone. Goodbye. No, I like doing the Get Bots with Matt and Littlefoot and Ron the waiter and some of the other people we have brought into the fray. So.
It'll be sad. It'll be sad when Ron the waiter gets canceled and Opie's like, everyone knew my time with Ron was done. Everyone knew the show was over. I said Ron should be talking politics and I can do my own thing.
That would be very funny if that's what happens. Is this continued here?
Okay.
I agree with the Texas rattlesnake. Well, Mike, now you go.
He agrees.
He agrees. Hey, man.
He's like, hey, I agree. The Gepard shows, those guys, they annoy me. They're not like you, Ope. They're not talented like you. I love listening to you. And he's like, you're gone.
I love this format.
You're not our people. You're not our people. So we got to get rid of the people that are not with us.
Good news for you.
Hope the stream isn't interrupted by him needing to be escorted to the bathroom, sissy. I don't know what that means, Greg. Greg, what are you talking about, Greg? Let's get into this. What are you talking about?
I smell a block coming. This guy might be in trouble. He said something Opie doesn't understand. He might get blocked.
Opie's got an itchy trigger finger this morning.
It is, in a way, I hate it in every other part of my day. But it is, I guess, in a way, a blessing that I can't see the chat. Because it's got to be hell to be obsessed with it the way Opie is, where he can't do a show where he's like, did you agree with something I don't like? You're gone. Get out of here. I'm sure there are people disagreeing with me right now. It would just be so consuming if I had to kick them all out.
No. I usually like the super chats like glow so I can see when they pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But once in a while you look over and they usually just call one of us fat or something like that,
Get rid of them.
Ozempic, you're blocked.
Bring the bulldozer out, Craig. Get rid of them.
Yeah, get Killdozer.
Yeah.
Shout out Killdozer.
Did you see Jimmy's new stand-up special? No, I did not. I don't watch anything of Jim Norton's. If it's good, great. If it's bad, whatever. I have complete indifference towards
that's what it sounds like. Usually when you have indifference to something. Craig, ask me about grapes.
Hey, Mike, do you like grapes?
Oh, I'm indifferent to them. I don't really care for them, but I don't mind them once in a while. I'm just indifferent to them. Ugh, why do you have to bring up grapes? Something I'm indifferent to. That's the normal tone you have when you're completely indifferent. When something doesn't faze you in one direction or the other, that's usually the tone you give is, ugh, I've never thought about that.
It is funny, though, if someone did ask him about grapes, it would be followed with a block.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Well,
what do you think about the weather? Ah, why are you bringing up this topic that I don't care about?
This dude has a downtown Manhattan like penthouse that he lives in, and then this
because of Jim Norton.
Yeah, and then this beautiful fucking house on the Hamptons, right on the ocean, and he just complains about everything.
And by the way, to add to that, focus in on the Jim Norton angle of this. You can watch multiple Jim Norton specials, including Monster Rain, which is probably like his most well-known. If you watch that special, Jim Norton stops the show and says, I want to give credit to Opie and Anthony for giving me a career. This man has done nothing but credit them. And when someone goes, hey, did you see Jim Norton's special? Oh, I didn't watch it.
Mark Atkinson in the chat says, that's a lie anyways. He hates Norton.
Oh, you think? Did you pick up on that?
I'm glad that was pretty clear.
Yes, no, I'm glad. I'm glad we zeroed in on that.
I have complete indifference towards Jim Norton. I don't wish him well. I don't wish any harm on the guy. I could give two shits about him. All right.
What do you think about this water bottle? I don't give two shits. It sounds like it. It sounds like you're really indifferent.
Yeah. Next, we got toxic culture.
Okay, now I'd like you to remember a little something called the Opie and Anthony subreddit. Are you familiar, Craig?
With the Opie and Anthony subreddit? Yeah. Yes.
Did you ever venture in there back in the day?
I sure did.
Was it all people like, hey, you look really good today. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, man. Was it like a lot of compliments?
Yeah, maybe they would say things like that to E-Rock.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you didn't listen to the Opie and Anthony show. I would say the message of that show was not necessarily positivity. But the sentiment that exists on the internet today, that's kind of our fault. That's us nasty streamers. We created that. And it's unfortunate that Opie has to deal with it.
That's right.
Why do you always harass old people, minorities, and women when you do your walks around New York City? Got it. Good luck. Okay, thanks, Big Lady. You're got to. What are you talking about? I'm not harassing anybody. I'm having fun with people.
Yeah, totally.
God,
I'm exposing that there's minorities and women in the city and old people.
And trannies.
I'm exposing the truth about them, all right?
He walked up to a transgender person and was like, ew.
What are you?
I'm not harassing anybody.
I'm not harassing these people. I'm sticking a camera in their face and trying to make a spectacle of them. But that's certainly not harassing them.
You guys are a bunch of baby, like, go enjoy your life, man. This is, I mean, honestly, it's so weird, this culture where you got a whole bunch of live streamers and they don't really want to, they don't, I was going to say they don't want to, they don't really have stories or memories or, you know, takes on the news. So all they do with their live stream is just beat the shit out of other live streamers. It's the easiest thing to do with a live stream. Even when we were doing it on the Opie and Anthony show,
oh, wait a minute.
We knew that a little of that went a long way. And if we were doing that full time, we would have never been, you know, massive radio stars.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. We built our name on it, and now I'm underplaying how much that impacted how people liked the show.
Correct.
It's weird that all these people that became fans of Opie and Anthony have this weird mentality where it's fun to make fun of stuff. I can't imagine where that started. It's weird, like Opie wants to take credit for having influence, and then when he looks at what his influence was, it's disgusting what these people did. It's lazy. When Opie hasn't done show prep, and I'm including his current show, Opie hasn't done show prep in 30 years, 25 years.
Right.
Like at WAAF, I think they did show prep. Maybe a little bit at WNEW. I'll give you that. WNEW, I'll grant you. In the last 20 years, Opie has not done a single ounce of show prep. He would show up and Sam and Travis and E-Rock listed topics for them, and they would just riff on those. And if you want to talk about someone not having a take on politics, this is Opie's big stance on current events.
But that's
I think both sides are bad. I think if you look at the extreme right and the extreme left, they're actually the same person. And then this guy has the gall to be like, none of these people have a take on current events.
The culture we live in, because anyone could do a live stream now, but literally on your phone. But the problem with that is there's so many people out there that don't have what it takes to actually put forth really, really good content. So then what do? There's only one other thing you could do is just trash other people that are doing it.
It's weird that if you look at view counts, it's like, anyone can do it. So sometimes like really lazy people that put no effort into their show. What are you laughing at?
No, nothing.
Like really lazy people who put zero effort into their show have the ability to just pop on and do nothing. And they just talk to the chat and expect them to give them money. And they have really nothing to talk about. No takes on anything, no interesting points of view. And so it's interesting when you look at view counts, where I, who have a relatively small channel, dwarf Opie's numbers. It's crazy how that happened. And he's not even talking about me, by the way. So if you start looking at the channels he is talking about, like Carl or whoever, compare the numbers of their shows to Opie's. And then if you say like, hey, people just like dog shit, I guess, give it a watch. Look at who puts more work and effort into their shows. Is it the guy that just flicks on his fucking computer and is like, I have an itch on my foot today and I can't get medicine for it. Medicine is too expensive. Knock off fucking Andy Rooney. Or is it the guy that just like did a live show and put a lot of work into it? I can't figure out who's more successful at this and why they are.
Rusty Mertz says Opie should buy an Uzi and nobody will mess with him again.
That is something. We should show him King Azoulay and then we'll all be like, hey, Ope doing a great job. Ron the Winner, really funny. Good stuff.
Correct. How lame in the end that is. If you do it on your live stream as part of what you're doing, good for you, for real, because that's what we did. But to rely on that and that's the only thing to do, I don't have any respect for any of those people.
It's got to be brutal to hate what you influenced.
You started all this, Opie.
It's got to be brutal to be like, we blazed a trail and I now hate everyone that followed it because they hate me. Like, that's got to be a weird place to live for Opie, where he really did. Like, he and Anthony created a certain type of podcasting. And I think much more than Howard Stern. Like, if you look a lot of podcasts today, Howard Stern certainly had influence, but I would say like the style of them and the way they go about approaching topics and having guests on, I think Opie and Anthony had even more influence than Howard Stern did. Opie looks at that influence and goes, I hate that I did this. but he can't admit that because it's all he has to hang his hat on. If Opie was honest and said, I did a bad thing by creating the Opie and Anthony show, I think he'd have to take his own life. He wouldn't know what to do with that information. Okay. So he just says we were great and everyone else sucks that came after us.
That's just true.
Absolutely lame. But yeah, we were absolutely driveway kids there. Corn diff.
Oh, good. I left that in for a very specific reason. To hear Opie go, these people don't have topics or interesting things to get into. Now back to what I was saying. I was a driveway kid. I hung out in my driveway. Ooh, I got to hear more about that. They were right. Making fun of other podcasts, that's no fun. What was Opie doing in his driveway when he was 6? That sounds interesting. Did he have the chalk out? I can't imagine.
Ooh, he drew the sun. Next is Almost Got Him, which is funny.
Yeah, it was a nice effort, and Opie obviously takes it in stride, as he always does.
Basketball in my backyard. Now it's named after my father. Oh, sweet. Nick. Oh, okay. You're trying to get me with a name. Oh, Jesus Christ, dudes. Let me get rid of him. On Father's Day, you guys don't let up, huh? Even on the good old Father's Day, you can't let up. Trevor Meyer.
It's crazy to watch Opie become what he made fun of forever.
I know.
How many examples could we easily find of Opie attacking a radio show or a personality or something? And when they would respond and go, hey, we're just a little show. The Opie and Anthony show must really have nothing to talk about. I guess they have no material because they're going after us. Mm-hmm. And Opie would do his outrage. That was, oh, God, they're playing that angle? Really?
Dennis and Callahan.
Dennis and Callahan was one of them. Where he's like, oh, they're going to play that angle? We have to go after you? And now it's what he's resorted to. Like Opie, as much, if not more than Howard. People do all those comparisons of like Howard and Imus, where Howard would bash Imus forever and then became Imus. Opie became all the people he was bashing, where he's like, oh, God, they're getting sensitive about that. And then he became that. He has all those same triggers that he made fun of. Because he didn't realize he's never self-aware. Like Anthony and Jim were... Norton, especially, Norton was almost like detrimentally self-aware. Like he had extreme self-awareness, whereas Opie had no self-awareness, so he never realized the stuff he was making fun of was him.
Right. Next to him, talking about anger.
Oh boy, I'd hate to see this guy fly off the handle.
Damn, your dad beat you. Is that where all the anger comes from? My dad never beat me. He beat me at basketball, I guess. Yeah, I don't really. Okay, listen, bro. I don't have anger issues.
Block him up.
I used to have anger issues out of frustration, but I worked through that through therapy, man, for many years.
I don't think Opie realizes when Anthony and I think Sam started. They would do this years ago on the Opie and Anthony show. They played old clips of Opie from WAF, and Opie would say, "Man," and they made fun of that. And Opie was actually a good sport in those segments.
Yeah,
where Opie would make fun of himself for that. And now he does this thing where he's like, "Oh, are you one of those, man?" And he thinks he's making fun of someone else. He forgot that he's making fun of what a douchebag he was as a young man.
Anthony still does that.
Yes.
Where am I showing my anger? Where is my anger?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ope. We did it. We documented it. If you're watching, it's every other clip that we just played of you. It's where you're blocked. Get out of here. You're not one of our people.
Oh, you made a silly name. Fuck you.
You tried to trip me up on a wacky pun. You're blocked. You can no longer contribute to my channel.
Stuff that might have happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. Are you doing that? You know, the Opie and Anthony show wasn't supposed to last forever, right? Right?
Why not?
Yeah, we're fine with it. We've moved on at this point.
Anthony and Jim's been great.
It certainly has been, yeah. But like you hear Opie there where he forgot, even within that conversation, he forgot how angry he just was 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So he does this act where he's like, listen to the tone I'm talking in right now. Does this sound like a guy who's angry?
Do I sound pretty pissed?
No, you sound a little insane. I guess anger wouldn't be the word, but you didn't wipe our memories. We remember 2 minutes ago when you were seething about the fucking chat. I'm using the word seething now too much. The Aaron Imholt have gotten into my head.
That's a pretty good segue too. Although we do have one more Opie clip.
Okay.
This is Reflection.
Yeah, so he's talking about what the Opie and Anthony show did to him. And you can always tell when Opie has gotten feedback a lot and doesn't like it. Because Opie will talk about how hard he worked on the Opie and Anthony show. And Jim, Sam, Anthony, E-Rock, Travis will all reacted to this, a version of this over the years, where they're like, Opie's talking about the hard work he put in. He didn't do anything. And to Anthony's credit, he'll be like, none of us did. Like, we would show up, and it is an amazing talent that they had. So you got to give them credit for their talent. But it also means you have to take away credit for their work ethic, where it's an amazing ability that they were able to come in, flip on the microphones, and talk about whatever the fuck. Especially when their lives were in such different places, you know? So, like, that is impressive, but you also kind of have to acknowledge, because we possess this skill, we didn't have to work as hard. Right. You know? I'm sure LeBron doesn't have to work as hard as Brian Scalabrine did, you know? There has to be. That might be a bad example because athletics are different, but you get the point.
Harder, and he's where LeBron is, and Scal didn't work hard.
Right. Athletics is probably a bad example, but you see what I'm trying to say. We're like, because they possess that natural ability, it caused them to at times be lazy. And Anthony has acknowledged that. The producers have acknowledged that, but Opie can't get past that, so he has to give himself such credit in a way that I don't know that he deserves.
Can I be doing more than I do? Probably, yeah, probably. but I'm doing it on my terms. The one thing I will say over and over again, and it's to reflect on this for Father's Day, when I was in it with the Opie and Anthony show, it left literally, and I'm only speaking for myself. If the other guys associated with that show had time to do other things, so be it. I can.
See, he's getting ahead of it. He's like, and they're gonna lie to you. That's fine, but here's my story.
Experience, and maybe I could have figured it out differently at the time. I don't know, but doing the Opie and Anthony show completely took up every moment of every single day. I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking of the show. Oh, maybe we should do this. Oh, this guy's got a problem. I would write little notes or reminders. Okay, make sure you make this phone call tomorrow. It took up every single waking moment. And I honestly could say in the early days of having,
I believe that he focused on it a lot. I think anyone with a podcast kind of does that to a degree. Where even when you I've always attributed this to Feidelberg. I don't know if he's the first person that ever said it, but I know he's the first person I heard say it. Where he goes, it's a difficult job to explain to anyone because you're never working, but you're always working.
Yeah,
like you never look like you're doing anything. It's like a Costanza when he tries to make Wilhelm believe he's working.
Yeah,
smashing the pencil against the desk. Like you never look like you're working, but like you're always kind of paying attention to stuff or thinking, like listening to things to talk about or whatever. Like in a way you're always working, but you never really are. It's not a construction job. There's nothing to hang your hat on and show to people at the end of the day that you worked at it. So like I believe that Opie did that because I think to have a successful show to some degree you're doing that. But what's interesting about Opie's case is like look at the guys who weren't miserable. And they were the ones who always brought in stuff to talk about.
Right.
Like if you look at Opie's personal life, he offered extremely little. Like he would talk about his kids in or his family in like a kind of a cursory level. But like Anthony would come in with stories from the night before, from the weekend, whatever. There would constantly be like, hey, let's make fun of E-Rock for this thing he did this weekend. Or here's something Sam got into that we can make fun of. Whatever. Norton with, 40 million personal stories. So Opie's spending all this time thinking of stuff and never brought it on air for some reason.
My kids and being married, certainly we had wonderful times, yes, but there were also times that I was completely distracted and out of my home life because of the Opie and Anthony show. So when I finally left that world and started podcasting, things made more sense to me. I was having a lot of fun with Carl and Vic, and we were certainly going for it with that podcast, and we were doing well, and I didn't have to work as hard, which was awesome.
Whoa. Why not?
No shit.
You lose two extremely talented guys. You pick up Vic Henley, and you're like, all right, now I can put it on cruise control. Now I can take it easy. With the stylings of Vic Henley and Carl Ruiz, who was a chef, now I'm on easy street. Now I can kick back and relax finally. Like, why didn't you still have that mentality of I constantly need to be thinking about stuff? You should have it even more so because you have to carry these other guys.
I was going to say it should be reversed because when you were with Anthony and Jim, you probably didn't have to do as much.
When fucking Patrice and Opie would say this on the air. He said this many times. When Patrice was in, Opie's like, I don't have to do fucking anything today. So when you're on your own and you have Vic Henley anchoring you down, you should be, no, rest in peace, Vic Henley. But you should be thinking like, all right, I really got to step up my game here. I'm on my own. Even if Vic and Carl were like really talented, he should be thinking, I'm completely on my own. This is a new thing. I don't know if people are going to like it. Like he should be putting so much more focus into it. Instead, he's like, finally, I didn't have to try as hard. And I think that shows in his current product. Now, I don't totally disagree with him. Like that probably affects your home life. You're not as present a husband or father. Completely believe that. But Opie doesn't talk about it in an honest way where he's like, listen, to do that job, like it's kind of all consuming. So it's a double-edged sword where it was great for the Opie and Anthony show that I was that focused, but wasn't great for my family. So once I got a break from that, like it was my home life was a lot easier. And I think ultimately that's better for me. I've made my money, but he never approaches it in that way. There's this bitterness towards it that glares so brightly.
It's another reason why I laugh at most live streamers and podcasters. They're like, "Oh my god, we need to put another hour out." They panic and freak out trying to do an hour of live streaming or radio or podcasting. For us, it was easy. We did literally the equivalent of 4 podcasts a day, if you compare it to what's going on today. So,
True. Yeah, but you just said it wasn't easy, and it consumed your entire life when you were doing that.
But they were so good, it was easy.
Well, I agree with that, and I believe that, and I've witnessed that from listening to them. But you can't say it took up my entire day, but it's also easy, and these guys freak out over doing an hour. Remember, we were the people that didn't put any effort into our shows a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, oh, they get all panicked about having to do another hour. We didn't put any work in, and we could do 4 hours. It's like, well, which is it, Opie? You can't have it both.
Carl and Vic, certainly, and then both those guys died, and then I honestly took a major step backwards. Like, what are my priorities? What am I doing? Am I going to try to now rebuild for like
not in the way he means it, though,
in my career, or am I going to just kind of enjoy my wife more, my kids more?
Yeah, see, he's saying you're right. If Opie had any self-actualization, that would be interesting to hear him go. And then you know what? When that radio show ended and I had to go to podcasting, I took a major step backwards. He means take a step back. He doesn't realize what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying I took a step back and looked at my life and said, I've got to make some changes. If he was saying like, you know, this thing I'm doing on my own, like I just like it. I don't care if it's a step backwards, if it's not as entertaining. I like hanging out with those guys. I get all of you don't, but like to me, it's very fun and I'm actually having the most fun in my career. That'd be hard to argue. But there's just a disconnect where he can't be fully honest with himself.
Doing this more without worrying about the
quality,
whole damn thing. So Matt, thank you for noticing. I greatly appreciate that. All right.
He's listening to someone who lied to him and said that this show was great. Keep doing you, Opie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what Opie's up to. So I guess it's easier to, if you want to get blocked by Opie. I guess he's made it very easy to do that. So go wild.
Chris Primer, $5. I missed this one. I don't remember if this was Opie or King Azoulay.
Okay.
This dork's target audience is now for slow adults and young children.
I would imagine the King. I don't think any children are listening to the Opster at this point.
Yeah, no kidding. I would like this. I would like that.
An Opie Kids show. He does do kind of like he's very sing-songy. He does wacky voices.
He could be the new Mr. Jerry.
Yes. Yeah, there's an opening now, Ope.
I didn't realize they were doing that. I thought he was legitimately doing a kids show.
Yeah, no, he was.
Oh, I know, but with betting in it. Like,
oh no. That would have been crazy. I think I'm one of the few on this, but I think Mr. Jerry was going to be a hit.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Just some of the videos of him like flipping out and then walking up and then saying, I'm going to go outside and find all the means of transportation.
I think maybe he would have needed a little help in the sense of like, there might be times where he would have an idea that someone would have to put a governor on and be like, this is a kid's show, Jerry, you know?
Right.
But I think if he had the right people around him, I think that could have been a hit for sure.
I think if it was strictly like a Miss Rachel type show, he would have done good. Even without.
Although I did get a creepy vibe when he ended his video with "See you in the funny papers." I was like, "Ooh," it did send chills up my spine a little bit.
That's so funny. Like, he's like the perfect guy for it too.
Yeah. I hope Mr. Jerry makes it out there someday.
Also, it would have been great though if he was like a big hit with like the kids' world. And then the video of him saying he's going to hang himself in the bathroom goes reviral.
Or that he shit his pants on the train or whatever else he's known for.
It's a sad day.
But it's also like, I don't think Jerry got enough credit for what a good idea that was in the sense of like capitalizing on an untapped market. Right. Like that alone was it was a smart idea that he had.
I can understand.
Even if it didn't work.
I can understand why DraftKings was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. But like, it sucks that it couldn't have happened, you know?
Yeah. It's a great idea, though.
Yeah.
So we're on to our last topic here.
Oh yeah, it's been a little while, right, since we've talked about Aaron Imholt and the Steel Toe Morning Show.
I want to say yes, but like that could very much be not true.
I know it feels like it's been a while. Maybe we talked about him a week ago. I don't know.
It could have been the last time I was on, to be honest.
Yeah. So shout out to Stalin19 for posting this, and Casey Day to sending it over to me, because there's been a thirst for the goal. There's been a void in my life because Aaron hasn't really been doing the goal. He's been crushing goals lately. So Stalin19 posted a clip that made me say, let me dive into this episode because he's talking goal, and he's kind of realizing his show's not the same without it. So we might be getting what we want here, as Aaron alludes to early in his program on Thursday.
You know, we've had pretty much a no-goal week this week. And believe it or not, and I've been very excited, and it's been great. And thank you guys so much for your generosity. I have, believe it or not, started to get complaints.
I believe it.
No goal.
They're from me. He's reading my letters.
He's just looking at the comment section of this show.
Dear Aaron, I'm not sure if you've watched my coverage of you, but I missed the goal terribly. Someone did say to me last night, they came up to me and go, I really enjoy the Beggy Monster. I said, well, I've been longing to hear those words.
And maybe a handful. But it is amazing because, we always say, we're like, goal. It's the only thing we hate about doing this show.
We always say. Who's we?
The Steel Toe Industries.
We always say. Aaron goes into his offices. I just imagine like 50 people that look like Aaron, but different hairdos and facial hair.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, God, I hate that goal, huh, boss? And he's like, you said it, friend.
Life that I'm like, oh, God, everything else, pretty ace is pretty cool.
Totally.
Very cool.
People need it.
Oh, there's more. Okay, yeah. I knew there was more. Let's keep going.
Yep.
But there is so much shit going on. So we've had no goals, and we've had people actually saying, Aaron, when there's goals on the show,
I get rock fucking hard. It's the only way I can come. My wife has been complaining to me because there's been no goals, and she's like, honey, our sex life is diminishing. And he's like, well, what can I tell you? I can't. The man, he's satiated too early in the program. I have no reason to donate anymore.
To like it more. Now I don't like worrying about the goal. It has been fun just doing shows and not worrying about it this week. I've had a great time.
That's his cross to bear. That's the problem with being king. Heavy lies the crown, or heavy, whatever that expression is. Because Aaron has to deal with something where we want the goal, he doesn't. How does he appease us? It's very difficult to be at that level. I can't imagine the burden that Aaron faces.
It's a big one.
Understand what they're saying, because the point they're making is that there's a drama. Like there's a drama in the goal. There's a will they, won't they about the goal.
Oh my
As our fans have said numerous times, a lot of times they say we hold our donations till later in the show because we like to.
Those aren't fans, you jackass. Those are people that like making a fool of you.
This is he can't be real.
I know he might this has to be a character, right? He must get that this is fake.
I have to assume he does. I have
it's clearly him spinning it so that he sounds cool and that people sound like they're thirsting for the goal. But does he consciously know that he's spinning it? Is he like, all right, how do I kind of make this sound like
right?
I don't agree with it, but people are having more fun watching the show. Now, Aaron's making it seem like people are like, I want so badly to donate, but I got to hold on to my money because there's a will they, won't they thing that happens with the goal. It's got nothing to do with us. Look at this asshole humiliating himself. There's nothing he won't do. He'll dance to Hava Nagila. He'll take his shirt off. He'll make a man on crutches stand. There's nothing he won't do to debase himself.
He legitimately, the guy from last night saying he liked the Beggy Monster, that started because Aaron legitimately said, guys, the Beggy Monster's coming.
I want to be clear. It was a woman who said she liked the Beggy Monster. Beggy Monster turns the ladies on. I just want to make that clear.
Okay, let Aaron know. Let Aaron know that it comes back.
Yeah, now I've been noticing that it's turning women on when I beg. Women are sliding off their chairs when I beg for money. And I think I can't take that away from the toettes.
Because that's my least favorite part of doing the show. But I should know. I always tell everybody else who spurgs out about our show, hey, man, do your research over the last 10 years. Figure out what this show is about. And if you're a sensitive pussy who gets offended by everything, probably isn't for you, right?
Oh, this guy should be on very good show.
Hey now.
This guy, how is YouTube allowing this, Craig?
I don't know.
That's crazy. Aaron, I didn't realize. I thought Aaron lived in Minnesota. I didn't realize he moved right up to the edge.
From my own advice and go, Aaron, in the last 10, 11 years of this show, when has this audience passed up on an opportunity to torture you, to righteously torture you? And the answer is never. They've never passed up an opportunity. So
us making fun of the goal is a thing like we're doing together. Like it's Aaron being like, hey, Mike, here's a little, I know you love the goal. Here's a little treat for you. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Aaron. Thanks. I appreciate you.
Like I said, I have been getting people saying I miss the goal. And that, I hate it. I hate that is actually a thing, that people miss the goal today.
Tortured artist. He's like Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, $200 this day. So it's not even a full goal.
Damn.
Been a full goal today. It's $200.
I need a full goal. I need a full, veiny, throbbing goal in me right now, Aaron. I need a big goal, deep and hard. You can't give me these half chubbed up goals.
Limp goal.
You can't ram a goal into me soft. I need it pulsating.
Said, oh boy, would I really love to knock that out early today and have our no goal streak continue. And then everything else you throw in goes toward Monday. Boy, would that just be swell. Will it happen?
That's the ultimate question.
I know you know.
Oh my
me.
God. Oh my God.
We'll see.
What's wrong?
Streamlabs,
He
PayPal.
was just singing Barney.
Yeah, so? Well, that's the first time we've ever seen him treat his audience like children. that he's dangling keys in front of. Oh, there's a goal over here. Do you see the goal? Oh, now it's over here.
Maybe,
Is that a goal behind your ear?
maybe Mr. Jerry watched Steel Toe and stole his ideas.
Aaron, how'd the goal get so low? How did you do that? Here's some from Monday. That was impressive.
Venmo, super chats. Haven't had to say that much this week. I've had to dust that off now today. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmos. I guess technically we're good till like 8:30, but let's see if we can't knock that thing down just a little bit.
It is, I guess, impressive to watch him on a day where like he thinks he's not going to make the goal, and he spins that into like, guys, our pockets are overflowing. Could you settle it down a little bit? People miss the goal. People miss the beg. I mean, you know I don't, but just for the good people out there, if you care about the masses, give to the goal, but not too early. I don't even know what his message was there, but
He's like, yeah, the Beggy Monster's been in hibernation. He's got crust around his eyes. He's like, ah.
that's the other thing that doesn't make sense is he's like, people miss the goal.
No, they don't.
So they're donating too early now. So how does that add up? They're still giving money. They don't miss the goal in the sense that it doesn't exist anymore. The goal exists. You just don't have to beg as much for it, which I don't know that that's true. It seems like it from the little I've checked it on there. And I say mazel tov, friend. Good for you.
I feel like if this was real, he wouldn't have said anything because he'd be making the money he needs to live.
Right. He wouldn't be like, "Hey guys, give later in the program." He wouldn't shake that tree, I don't think.
But Mike, the fans are split.
Oh no. I hope there's not a war brewing.
Bigot on Socialist Media said, do they like you mentioning the goal constantly so they can complain about you mentioning the goal? Maybe. I think they feel there's a sense of drama with the show when the goal is going.
Yeah.
Now
That's what it
they
is.
have a week of no goals, and
It's
they're like,
Ross and Rachel. It's Jim and Pam. You know?
Yes.
And when Jim and Pam got together, the office lost something.
That's right.
And I guess that's the exact same as people donating money to Aaron.
Yes.
It's just good writing.
dramatic. It's just a straight show. Hulkamasha Baby says
April left in season 6.
It's just a straight show. Listen to what he thinks, though, of that audience. And, like, I can't imagine trying to relate to anyone that thinks like this. He's like, yeah, it bums people out. Now we're just a straight show that talks about, like, the news and my life or whatever. But people miss when I would be like, hey, guys, hurry up and donate. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo. That's the part a lot of people really liked. So it sucks that I can't do that. Like, Aaron thinks that was part of the fans' entertainment, like the genuine fans. He doesn't realize he's talking to us that are like, Aaron, I only gave a shit about the show when you were humiliating yourself.
Right.
Hulkamasha Baby says, we get ahead and you start talking about taking nights off and mailing in shows. I have not mailed in shit. I have not mailed in shit. I have done every show and I've done them to the best of my ability. I can't help that I'm not very talented.
Oh, Aaron.
McBuster says, nobody misses the goal. Aaron is gaslighting us because he is gay. Me being gay has nothing to do with the gaslighting. Those can be two separate things. But my lost interest said it. There was one other.
Oh, really? A guy that clips your show? A guy that needs you to be humiliating so he has something to post is like, gee, I missed that goal. No shit. That's why I miss it too.
Remember who, but they're like, am I weird for maybe missing the goal a little? I don't know. You know who doesn't miss the goal? Us. Meaning we never miss. Another person.
Oh, shit.
Hopefully. Nobody misses the goal. Whoever said that is retarded. Well, I'll say this. We had huge numbers on Monday. Our numbers were big, like almost 900 average, over 1,000 peak, and they've gone down the last couple of days.
What does that mean?
Who knows?
What does that have to do with anything?
Who
the goal's
knows?
not there?
No, but the goal is there. He says we're $200 short of the goal right now.
But he's saying before, like earlier in the week.
Earlier in the week, it was more. The goal was more?
No, he didn't have to. People were just donating, so he didn't have to mention it. So the numbers dropped because he wasn't like, oh my God, am I going to be able to feed my kids today?
Oh, very perceptive, Craig. I didn't get that. I think you are right, though. Yes, he's saying...
Which is crazy.
People stopped watching because they're like, oh, he hit the goal. Which, if that's true, that means he doesn't have a show.
It's insane.
Like, if people are donating too much money, but then when he gets the donations, people stop watching. I don't understand this cycle. The math isn't working. You would think he would make more money the more people that are watching.
Right. But he probably he makes more money, but the people are like...
Well, the math on this show has always been very confusing. It's hard for me to follow.
That's actually true. Yeah. he like accounts for tax.
Yeah.
Next we have him talking about law tubers.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to say if he was in a sexual relationship with a man that had reached great notoriety for talking about legal cases on the internet. I don't know. You guys tell me if you think that maybe shaped his view on law tubers, because I remember him talking about Nick Rekieta as like a god a couple of years ago. When I don't remember, but I would see old clips of him talking that way. It's interesting to see how his thought on law tubers have changed, and I don't know if there's any incident that might have shaped that.
All right, off we go. Karen Reed.
Ooh. So
the Karen Reed thing is interesting to me because I didn't give a flying fuck from Jump Street. I don't care.
Me neither. That's
her husband. I don't give a shit.
It's an interesting
Did somebody
story.
else?
Hold on. It's absolutely an interesting story. It's one I didn't care about.
Yeah.
So I'm with Aaron on this. I wasn't interested in it. Can I understand why people are interested? Absolutely. It seems like an interesting story. I just never got into it.
Body in front of her vehicle, and she was driving drunk and hit it, and then got blamed.
He's not even got the story right.
Hold on, go back though. Go back, because what he's describing, where he's like, "Oh, big whoop," as he's describing it, it's very compelling.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to him describe it, be like, maybe I should have paid attention to this fucking thing. Go back where he's like, "Oh, blah." It sounds like he's like, so the lady went to the grocery store and then she came home and her neighbor had to help her bring the bags in. It's like he's telling this blah 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 type of story.
He's like, cop hit with car, cover up. What?
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Yada yada yada.
All right, off we go. Karen Reed. So the Karen Reed thing is interesting to me because I didn't give a flying fuck from Jump Street. I don't care.
That's why it's interesting.
Did she kill her husband? I don't give a shit.
Boyfriend.
Did somebody else kill her husband and then they framed her and like threw his body in front of her vehicle and she was driving drunk and hit it and then
whoa.
Holy fuck.
If I'm hearing this story for the first time, I'm like, that's incredibly interesting.
This might be the best story I've ever heard in my life.
Aaron, no, talk about that more.
Yes, let's actually hear this.
You're worried we want to talk about the goal? Talk about it. It sounds crazy.
No, but people want to hear PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats.
Like if I dove into Karen Reed early on, I could absolutely see myself talking about that on this show.
For sure.
It does seem it's just not something I sunk my teeth into ever. And I also don't think I'm the guy that people want to hear from about legalese. So I just never got into it. But like it's definitely an interesting story.
Oh yeah, I was full blown in on it. I would check in or watch as much of the court every day and watch recap video at night.
Right.
Like
right.
I was in.
And Aaron's like, yeah, on and on and on. Was she framed? Are the police in on it? And you're like, oh my God, this could go all the way to the top, you're telling me?
Did 5 of his friends kill him in a garage and then plant him on the lawn?
Yawn.
I find all of this LawTube stuff to be fucking boring and gay and weird and nerdy. It's like the Dungeons and Dragons of the internet. But here's what I have to learn. As a guy with a social life who goes out and does things,
as a guy who drank a LawTuber's cum.
Yeah, his social circle literally includes these people very deeply and intimately.
I'm the retard on the internet. You know, I have to, unfortunately, now in life in general, in the world, I'm the normal guy.
Yeah.
And all of these people are fucking insane.
That's very humble of him to use the word normal, because what he's really saying there is, I'm the cool one. I go out and booze and I fuck bitches and I have I'm the fucking man. All my friends are like, when's Aaron coming out to party? Like I have a life. And these people care about a story. Do you understand it's possible to do both? Yes. Like my girlfriend is interested in the Karen Reed story. Mm-hmm. Another thing we did last weekend was go out to dinner and went to a comedy show. You can do both. You can leave the house and also listen to a podcast about Karen Reed.
You sure can.
Aaron's like, I forget these people are like those freaks in their mom's basement. Yeah, just like the OJ trial that no one paid attention to. You know,
a lot of them are high-paid lawyers just talking into a camera, and they explain everything the way it's happening, so it is interesting.
No, if I say Johnny Depp and Kyle Rittenhouse, it's like who even paid attention to those things? Like no one gave a shit about those trials. Who even cares about that? Fringe people, freaks.
No one looked into those.
Waters.
Doesn't Turtle Boy has like a Netflix deal because of the Karen Reed case, doesn't he?
Turtle Boy has a fucking movie coming out that he could announce after the verdict came out.
And he's like these losers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Turtle Boy is very sad that he's like, oh, I guess I'm just a nerd that got into the Karen Reed case. Aaron, you could have done that if you wanted to.
Turtle Boy literally broke that story.
I know. And Aaron's like, what a nerd.
What a dork. and then Johnny Depp actually made this show. We were talking about him being like, she made a whoopee in my bed or a grumpy.
I never heard.
A grumpy in my bed.
Amber Heard, like if you don't think there was stuff to, I'm sure. Again, I haven't followed Karen Reed. I'm sure there's stuff we could have made fun of or talked about on this show. But like Johnny Depp, another high-profile case. Like Amber Heard's interview was hilarious.
It was so funny.
And if you do a show like Aaron and you're like, oh no, that stuff is gay. It's like you just don't give a shit about your audience. You're just a guy that wants to pretend he's cool for some reason.
Mm-hmm. I know. We talked about Amber Heard's interview or when she was on the stand on this show, and I know you didn't really pay attention to the Karen Reed case, but this woman Jen McCabe almost did the exact same shit.
Oh, interesting.
She blatantly lied and talked to the jury, like would turn and talk to them instead of the person asking her. It was very funny.
Listen to how gay Craig sounds, everybody.
Oh
he knows things about the case. He must be sucking cock.
Dungeons and Dragons, watching trials assholes are considered like the in crowd, which is pathetic. And
I got to disagree with all of this.
Meanwhile, he's wearing a blue polo with glasses. Now who's gay?
But like, are you like, hey, there goes a guy who's interested in, there goes Dave Cullinane, coolest cat in town. Like, do people that are into the Karen Reed case walk with a certain swagger now? Like they're cool?
Is that a 9.5 going by?
I used a bad example. Dave is very cool, of course, but like just a general person. He's like, they're the in crowd now.
Right.
Like, no, a lot of my friends are into the case, and also some aren't.
Right.
And those who are will bring it up and be like, you into the Karen Reed case? And when I'm like, no, not really, they don't fucking stick my head in the toilet.
I almost quit.
They're like, that's fine. Next topic. Not that big a deal for either of us.
Right.
Actually, the cool people who are actually the people who have a sense of perspective.
Aaron, stop thinking you're cool.
That is the
stop. You have to get rid of that. You're not cool. I'm not cool. None of us are. You have to stop thinking you're cool. Get that out of your mind. Where he's like, no. I go out and I have beers with the guys.
I do cocaine.
I'm cool. Like, no. But you don't get to tell us you're cool. We think you're a dork. Maybe you're not. If I met you, maybe I'd think you're fucking awesome.
In his defense, he is the cool parent. He brings his kids to parties.
Sure, that is definitely true.
Outdoors experience, if you will. We're looked at as the weirdos.
Outdoors experience, but that means drinking at a bar, by the way.
Huh?
He means drinking at a bar when he says outdoors experience.
It's pretty cool.
Style shit is Dungeons and Dragons. It's weird. It's lame. It's gay. Sports is cooler. But people talking about the NBA finals.
It's so different, by the way. When I watch fucking Skip Bayless for the 9,000th time come up with a way to say LeBron sucks, I'm like, what a cool guy.
He says people watch the NBA finals. I got to be honest. I like basketball. I have watched Love Island over the NBA finals every single game.
Well, then I can't tell if you are cool then, because you like the Karen Reed case.
Yeah.
You don't like sports.
I do like sports, but Love Island.
You do?
Awesome. Yeah.
But you like Love Island. Boy, you're a complex. You're like an onion.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to you than meets the eye.
Hey, I don't care what anyone says. Love Island is fucking awesome.
Guys, is Craig cool or not? You vote in the comments.
Yeah, vote. See if you're gonna vote me out of the villa, right, guys? Huh?
Yep.
People talking about the Super Bowl, not as hot on YouTube as talking about some drunk Boston bitch who didn't run over her husband.
I mean, it might be if you do it right. Is he familiar with Pat McAfee? He's like, yeah, it's crazy now. No one that talks sports is making any money. I think like Dan Katz might disagree with you.
Seriously.
Whatever. The world is run by geeks when it comes to the internet. Let's humor them.
He's the biggest geek on the internet, I swear to fucking God.
But here's what he's doing. You're absolutely right. But here's what he's doing is he does all this setup for how terribly gay the Karen Reed trial is. And then he's like, but it's going to get me clicks, so I'll talk about it. It's like, Aaron, you're the lame one here. All the people that are interested in the case are talking about it. They're talking about something they're interested in. I don't give a fuck if they're cool or they're nerds or any of these high school labels you want to put on them. If they're good at talking about it, I might be interested in listening. You're saying I have no interest in this, but I'm going to talk about it for clicks, which is the worst way to go about it. I don't know why he's so brazenly doing it.
But he's about to compare cool shit versus gay shit.
Oh, I do need a lesson because, like I said, it's a little confusing.
I know. I do like Karen Reed Case. I do like Love Island. I also like basketball. So,
yeah,
am I cool or gay or a gay?
Where's the line?
I could be just a gay cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, Americans are a voyeuristic people. We love watching this shit. I just don't understand it, man. It is so boring.
Hey, that's fine. Move on.
Next,
totally
topic.
fine. Totally fine. There's a bunch of shit I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on in Iran. So we didn't really talk about it today. Because it would be crazy for me to just spend 45 minutes going, what's the deal with Iran? Why are people interested in this thing?
I'm also going to talk about that for about an hour tomorrow morning.
Is that cool or not? I can't decide.
There and watch Procedure for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then if you like talk, this is what I've always hated about the internet, is that if you do cool shit, people are like, yeah, I don't like it.
Oh, that's Aaron's problem. he's just too cool.
He's way too cool.
When, by the way, if you want to like get in this high school mentality of judging like what's cool, who's the raddest dude online, Aaron did something cool. He was part of a swingers group and was doing blow and fucking a guy's wife and all this like, crazy shit. And then it was like, I've learned a lot. That was a massive mistake. I've learned a lot. So it's like Aaron's saying, like, do cool shit like I do. Like the thing I publicly apologized for 37,000 times now and said I've grown up.
Right.
Shit, they're like, oh, the greatest thing ever. This is so awesome. So if you watch Trials for hours on end, this is the greatest thing. If you're like, hey, man, did you guys see that game last night? Hey, that's stupid. Why would you? It's like the world is.
That's always what people are attacking Barstool Sports. They're like, you're gay. Why are you covering the Pacers game?
They
being gay like that.
They also cover everything. So they are kind of
but I'll tell you why they do that, Craig. Because I think it's actually a very smart. I'm going to praise my friend Dave Portnoy here. It's actually a very smart business decision he had.
Yes.
He said, hey, guys like sports, and they also like other stuff. So what if I had a website that talked about sports and talked about some other stuff? Aaron's acting like it's either sports or gay. It's like, you can like the fucking NFL and be interested in if Kyle Rittenhouse was guilty. People like that exist.
Online, you know, it's like the dredges and the dorks and the shitheads of the world. They're like, we're bitter at the jocks and everybody else, so we're just going to invert everything and make gay shit cool, and then all cool shit is going to be gay.
You know, a guy who's really into sports, and I guess he, by Aaron's definition, really cool. A guy who he didn't miss a baseball question in like 1,000 days, and when I look at my friend Chris Clemmer, I say, my God, who invited the Fonz here? I say, now that guy is super cool.
Cool.
There are nerds that are into sports, and there are cool people that are into fucking Dungeons and Dragons. Why does he live in this box?
Chris goes to Mets games and keeps score himself in a book.
Yes, the Warthog loves baseball.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever heard him. Not particularly electric.
Both married, but these guys, so it can't be gay.
That's true. That's true. Married men.
It really is like the internet is revenge of the bitter nerds in real time. So the Karen Reed thing is hot.
That's why we're going after Aaron. He's just too
I don't give a shit. I'll be upfront with you. And this is why I'm going to kind of enjoy covering this today. Everyone seems to be passionate about this story. Who killed him? Did Karen Reed get away with killing her husband? Did the police try to shamelessly frame Karen Reed?
Oh, he's acting.
Awesome.
he's acting like, oh, everyone's so passionate about this. Mrs. Graves dug her garden on her neighbor's property. Like it's some who gives a fuck story in your neighborhood. But he's saying the words, oh, was she framed for murder? It's like, probably the most interesting thing you could think of.
The death of one of their own. And like people are passionate one way or the other. People were mad about this verdict or they were happy about this verdict. I don't give a fuck. So I get to approach this from everyone else is emotional about it, and you just get to mock other people's emotions. That's fun for me.
Can I say that? Can I give Aaron a little tip? What's happening?
That was, and then I got an Indian scammer to say sports are gay on PGS.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I had no idea what that was. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, if I can give a little advice to Aaron, there's a way to do what he's doing without patting himself on the back for doing it. You could just play clips of the Karen Reed trial or people covering it or whatever you're about to do. You can mock that trial from whatever angle you want. And you don't have to go, look at how cool I am for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You could just do it, as a friend of mine once said. And then people on their own could go, hey, Aaron's pretty cool for taking a different angle at this Karen Reed case.
Right.
Hey, Aaron's approaching it like nobody else. But he's like, guys, I'm about to be really innovative and do something that you've never seen before. It's like, well, let us be the judge of that.
Here he is talking about Melton fans.
Oh, this is good. I just put this in for good measure because we had Patrick Melton on the show a few weeks ago. He seemed pretty mild-mannered about everything, but this is how Aaron represents Patrick and his fans.
YouTube is filled with incested, child-loving gay F words. I mean, well, just the Melton fans that we trigger on a goddamn daily basis. You know what? And by the way, we can talk about them like they're not here because none of this shit processes anyway. Don't think that I don't think it's a lot of fun. Knowing I can say a certain thing and then I can get them to go, but you. Guys, I'm going to tell you again for the 30th time.
Okay.
Ooh, watching the puppet master at work. If I could say this about Aaron, again, same as the last advice. Puppet masters don't usually reveal themselves and go, hey, I'm the puppet master. No, this guy's just a figurehead. I'm working from behind the scenes and wielding power from within, but he's nothing.
Right.
They're usually not that upfront about it. You could do it and then let all of us with a discerning eye go, hey, Aaron's really owning Melton fans right now. But Aaron has no confidence in himself and also doesn't do that. He doesn't own anybody. So the only way he can let his fans know that he's owning everyone is by just blatantly saying, I'm owning everybody, guys. Give me credit for owning everyone. Because no one does it on their own.
Now, Mike, big deal happened in Iran last night. That's not the war. That's not the war anyone gives a shit about.
No, I said, it's funny. Justin leaned over to me and goes, I think we're at war. And I said, I know. I sent Craig the clip already.
Circles. Leah with $10 says, I hear there is a Rumble chat versus YouTube chat fight going on.
No! How many lives are we going to lose?
It ain't so.
Aaron, no! First, think about the mothers that are going to be childless.
Go from Corn Pop and Miss Tay to Leah. So it's now 15-10 in favor of YouTube. The YouTubers have it. $15 to
We're
10.
Back, baby! We're golden again!
He's got 5,000 viewers right now.
But hey, we're at 135. That means we can still get to 100 by 8:30.
Ooh, ain't I cute?
Maybe.
Throwback.
135 away from today. I'm going to start keeping score. It sounds like war has been declared by YouTube and Rumble.
I'm stepping in. Fuck Rumble. I'm a YouTube man and proud of it.
Yeah, Schmarin Schmimholt is the one who donated. Said this.
YouTube. We got Rumble. I guess I can throw PayPal in there too. PayPal's at 10. No, PayPal's at more than 10. PayPal's at 5, 11.50, 16.50, 20, 26.50. So actually, PayPal's winning.
Wow.
YouTube's at 15.
PayPal went from last place to first place, just like that.
Well, PayPal, they're the rebels. They're just a ragtag group of farmers that by God, through sheer tyranny of will, was able to scrap to the lead.
Rumble's at 10, and this is since the war started. This isn't all day. YouTube,
oh my God, the bloodshed.
And PayPal's at 26. So
PayPal's going to take out YouTube's
It's a three-pronged war, and we gotta see. We gotta see who's going to win. 135 away from today's goal.
I like the idea of Aaron invoking streaming pride. And by the way, what is PayPal? So, like, if you donate through PayPal, in your mind, I'm trying to get the mentality right here.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost wrap my head around, because I use YouTube, not Rumble.
Me too.
To say I could wrap my head around this is a stretch, but follow me on this journey here.
Mm-hmm.
I can at least pretend to understand the idea of being like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I'm giving on YouTube, and I don't want these Rumble people getting a better reputation than me.
This is a stretch, but okay.
I want Aaron to know where his bread is buttered. I'm a loyal YouTube man since 2005. I was watching YouTube.
Absolutely.
So I'm a loyal YouTube man, and I'll support them in whatever battle they take on. What I don't understand is the person who is like, oh, no. I'm not going to let PayPal fall behind in this war.
PayPal.
Because people have asked me for years, are you a YouTube or PayPal user? And I say, what are you, nuts? PayPal, of course.
We should start streaming on PayPal too.
Like, there's no crossover. There's no reason someone would be like, I need PayPal to win this battle.
Hamilton Berger is calling this Jocktober 7th.
That's very good.
Oh, that's the name of the episode. Thank you, sir.
And very timely.
Yes.
Very fitting for what's happening.
Generous contributions today. Okay.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, it's sad. It's sad that we're in this place in the world, especially when Aaron sold us for so long on being anti-war. Like, That's how we started donating to the goal. And then all of a sudden, he's like, hey, listen, Rumble is really going to do some damage if we don't step in here.
Rumble's currently parasailing into YouTube's music show.
We got to do something to stop. Listen, I'm anti-war is the next guy. We got to do something to stop Rumble before things get out of hand here.
Again. All right, so now it's 15-11 YouTube over Rumble, but PayPal still the dog at 26. 135 away from.
What does that mean? I need to get inside the mentality of that. So I donated on PayPal. What am I telling myself here? I'm like, oh, good. I donated on the correct avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I gave my money the right way because I gave to PayPal. And then if PayPal falls behind, I'm supposed to feel like I'm a fucking loser. My money's worthless because I didn't give on the dominant service. Wouldn't you just donate wherever you're watching?
Let me get off of this. Go to PayPal.
Whatever is easiest. Or like if you're maybe there are some people that probably don't have their information in like to Google. So they're like, hey, I'm watching on YouTube, but it's just easier for me to give on PayPal. But like Aaron's making it like there's supposed to be some loyalty there. Like you're like, no. My grandfather was a PayPal man. My father was a PayPal man, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to be a PayPal man and serve this nation.
I'm being greedy, and I want to get to 100 by 8:30. It's not looking great right now at 8:26. We usually want to be at 100 by 9:30, but I'm getting greedy. All right, Corn Pop with $4.99 says steel toe on Tim Pool would be fun. Johnny plus wheels up Johnny. Thank you, Corn.
That really would be fun. Imagine steel toe on Tim Pool going, I don't know, Tim, all these topics are pretty gay. I'm into drinking and fucking chicks.
This is pretty gay. Why aren't you begging everyone for money?
Tim's just like, I don't know what else to talk about then. These are all pretty gay topics.
That's another $5 for YouTube. $5 from Leah says Rumble rants should count for more since you get a bigger cut.
Yes.
Wait a minute. While the show only takes 7 from YouTube.
Hold on. I'm glad Aaron's going to clear this up. It's very important.
Yeah.
Because Private Leah has interjected with concern and said, if I'm going to give my money on Rumble, we that's ammo we're giving up. That's precious ammo. It needs to be counted properly.
Well, we count.
I'm glad Aaron's going to take this seriously and explain it here because it's important to all of us. This, by the way, Karen Reed case, gay.
Mhm.
This, very cool and important.
Pretty cool. The viewers back that up, to be fair.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. While the show only takes 70 from YouTube, 80 from Rumble, we count all 5, since it's your donation, towards your guys' total.
Thank God.
Since when?
So, I mean, you guys should get credit.
Since the war started, you fucking asshole. Where have you been?
Because
these are war times.
But someone will donate $20 and he's like, thanks for that, $13.75.
Yes, but in battle. These are battle dollars we're talking about.
Battle bucks.
These are war bonds.
Steel toe battle bucks.
The battle bucks are counted differently.
Okay.
But here's what you're not understanding. I'm glad I've gotten to a place. It's very important in my life. A year ago, I was a novice. Now I've gotten to a point in my life I can explain this to you. Yes, when someone donates $20 on YouTube, that is, let me get this right, I believe $14 towards the goal, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's towards the total goal. But in war currency, so he puts it on the big board for the goal.
There's no tax.
But then, in times of war, there's no tax.
Okay.
He funnels this through the church.
Gotcha.
For battle. So, like in war calculations, he goes, "Hey, that's what YouTube gave to the goal, but here's what they gave in ammunition, in war dollars."
Yeah.
We knock the goal down by as much as we receive. But as far as like the donation total, we put the whole thing in there. So those two offset each other. YouTube is now at 20. Rumble's now at 16. PayPal.
I hate to get in the weeds here. Private Leah is correct. If you're talking about what's being donated towards the goal, why am I doing this?
I don't know. I'm sitting here
I
like,
gotta do it now. I'm too in.
You're...
If you're talking about what's donated towards the goal, Rumble rants are worth more.
That's true. That's true.
It's taken me a long time to get to finally saying that. It's been on the tip of my tongue forever. And finally, I've had the guts to say, Rumble rants are worth more. Yell it from the mountaintops.
Their lead, at least. 130 away from today. Uh-oh. We can still maybe get to 100 by 8:30. My greedy ass. My greedy ass. Hey, Rumble, you know what really jacks up that total and fucks with the YouTubers? Those gifted memberships.
Ooh, don't fuck with me like that, you bastard. Don't you dare wave those gifted memberships in front of me. You know I can't compete on YouTube.
Every time I think he's done, he just shows me something new.
Those gifted memberships. And I like Aaron has equated money and time. Those are like the same thing in his mind now, where time equals money, money equals time. In the sense that he's like, hey, it's almost 8:30, but you still have time to get us under $100. We're at 135. You have time to donate $36. Now, I would say that's true if it's 8:29 and 59 seconds. You have enough time. You could donate 135 right there. It takes the same amount of time.
I don't want to point this out to Aaron because it might upset everything.
Yeah.
But it's wartime.
I understand.
Right?
We need to exhaust all options.
It's wartime. He doesn't like gay topics.
No.
But he sure is acting like the gayest country, Ukraine, and just begging for money during wartime.
Well, it's Aaron has. I'll give this to Aaron. He's allowed all kinds. Whether you cut your penis off or whatever you do, you're all allowed to contribute in the war of YouTube versus Rumble rants.
We got a controversy, unfortunately, though.
Oh no.
Says Miss Taze should count towards Rumble. She's not on YouTube. I know. I counted Miss Taze 5 gifted memberships towards Rumble. But the 10 that she gave us on YouTube I gave to the YouTube end.
I'm going to need you to stand down.
So this lady's just donating on 2. She is a double agent, as they say.
Death? Now what y'all know about death? Aaron's like, I will not be questioned. Aaron's like fucking Nicholson in A Few Good Men. He's about to break here where they're questioning him on Did you give Miss Tay 5 gifted memberships?
$26 PayPal, $20 YouTube right now, and we're 105 away from today's goal. We did not quite hit 100 by 8:30, but that's okay. So now we have 2 hours to just knock this thing down $5 or $10 at a time. I like that. 2 hours
like
to knock out 105. Please do it. I appreciate it. You guys are the best.
What do you like about it that's different if it was $135? What do you like about that?
What's the difference?
Well, now we've got 35 minutes to knock down $105. Whatever, 2 hours to knock down $105.
No.
What's savory about that to you, Aaron?
Well, he's going to go over the war statistics or standings, as he likes to call them.
Oh, good.
I think they get it. We are an even hundo away from today's goal. All right. Charge. Hundo away through the barrier and call it another win.
Hold on. Is there too much Aaron in the outro already?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there might be, but that's outro worthy.
I'll see if I can figure it out.
Charge your credit card and give it to me.
I think they get it. We are an even hundo away from today's goal. All right. Charge. Hundo away. Let's break through the barrier and call it another win for the toe. Here's what the standings say. YouTube, $30 since the war was declared by Corn Pop. Rumble, $43.
What's his name? What's the guy's name that killed Bin Laden? Is that Ryan O'Neal? Brian O'Neal?
Rob O'Neal, but
Rob O'Neal.
A lot of people think it's this guy named Red, and that Rob O'Neal's been lying the whole time.
Rob O'Neal is sitting down to talk about when Rumble passed YouTube. He's like, well, here's the meal we had before. He like really gets into the story.
By Corn Pop. And PayPal is at $26. So if the PayPal Venmo crowd wants to jump in, it's a ball game. We're $100 away from today's goal, and everybody's within $20.
It's a ball game. I'm going to use sports analogies because they're not gay.
This is like when they tell you the number of people that died in the Ukraine today.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's powerful. PayPal's given $26.
26 lives.
Of being in the lead. So
that is, he shouldn't talk about the money, the monetary number. He should talk about the number of people that donated and say this is how many lives were given.
Each donation should be called a steel toe tag.
To stash this one away and call you, make it another win. YouTube, you can get right back in the game. PayPal and Venmo, not very difficult for you to get back into it either.
I love the motivation. I always love the motivation. Like, you're probably thinking YouTube is down on their luck, but there's Papa Aaron to lift them up and say, hey, YouTube, you're still in this thing, bud. Come on.
He's down in their foxhole with them, pumping them up.
No, we're just stupid. Rumble's going to beat us. And what's even the point of trying? Guys, we got this. Come on. You're YouTube. You've been around so much longer. You can do this.
Crunch time, Mike. We're in crunch time.
I know they take 30% from you guys, but that means you're going to have to try 30% harder.
All right. $85 away, $45 left in the show. Guys, let's get after it. Let's go ahead and make it a final win.
$85 away, $45 left in the show?
I got to hear this again. What the fuck is he talking about?
All right. $85 away, $45 left in the show. Guys, let's get
I mean
85 battle bucks, but 45.
I can't remember. Does he mean 45 minutes and maybe he misspoke?
He really didn't get any donos in the last hour and a half then. That's the case.
Oh, no. There was a long gap. The war was cold for some time.
It was peace times. It was Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and make it a final win for the toe, a perfect week for the toe. We got a show to still do for you. We got 45 minutes left, but I want to hit that 85 because it would be
what a jackass.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing, right? Like if we've had a perfect week, how many shows we haven't had to hit a goal, quote unquote, on any show but one? I think yesterday's show we had to hit a $100 goal. That
You
was,
had it.
we did 200 today.
Aaron, hold on. Stop. We haven't had to hit a goal on any show but one. But he has to hit the goal every week or every day or they fall behind, right? That's what a perfect week is.
I like to think that YouTube and Rumble are planning to overthrow Aaron.
Aaron thinks he's in power right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're actually coming for him. They'll own the show.
They take him out tomorrow. April's in front of this dumb steel toe sign.
I'm back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
April's got a mission accomplished sign behind her.
Well, now we're stuck at 85. Let's finish that shit up because if we've had 2 goals and they don't even equal 1 full goal and we don't knock that out.
What does that mean?
Fucking
what?
This is so cool, though. We could be talking about, Karen Reed or something. Gay.
Oh, that would be so lame. I'm glad we're talking about cool stuff. Like, we could have had 2 goals that make 1 full goal. Could have had 2 goals that make 1 goal. What do you think he means by that?
That the goals were so small that it's a normal goal?
Let me hear it again. Guys in the chat, give me your best guesses. I need to know what this means. Let me hear it again, and we'll pause it and ruminate.
85. Let's finish that shit up because if we've had 2 goals and they don't even equal 1 full goal and we don't knock that out
goals
week, we're fucking assholes.
If we've had 2 goals,
2 goals,
they don't even equal 1 full goal.
They don't equal 1 full goal.
Oh, okay. I think I've got it. My God, I think I've cracked it.
Oh God.
So people have been donating so much that there's a surplus in steel toe industries. That was a surplus causes like you can go into say Wednesday's show,
right?
The Tuesday night crew really knocked it out,
right?
And the goal is $100 less,
right?
So Aaron's had 2 goals that equal less than $350 in a row. I believe that's what he's saying, right?
Yeah. If this was, if he was paying attention, you'd be promoted to colonel.
Who could possibly give a fuck about what price the goal was when 2 shows ago started? Can you imagine watching a show and being like, I wonder what Joe Rogan made 2 days ago? Who would give a fuck?
How much did he get per Fleshlight ad read?
Like, how much does he get per show? But what did he get on Wednesdays specifically?
I don't know. So, knock it out. Call it a win for the toe. Let's go ahead and do it. 45 minutes, Nova. 45 minutes left in the show. $85 left in the goal. And our war, the corn pop war between Rumble, PayPal, and YouTube. Rumble is at 47. YouTube is at 41. And PayPal's at 26.
Oh, PayPal.
Everybody is still in the game. Let's get generous.
What happened to Venmo?
Well, Venmo's not even in the discussion.
Wow.
Venmo's, Japan in 1945. Do I have that right?
We're pretty big.
47 then, I mean. I'm just trying to say they've been blown up.
Then yes, you're right. Yeah. I thought you meant in that war. I was like, they were a big part of that war.
Venmo's out of the picture.
This is our last clip, Cinderella story.
I mean, this will warm your heart, gang. Watch what happens here. You just heard the standings. This is going to knock your dick in the dirt.
By the way, Steven, with $55 on PayPal.
What?
Whoa.
They did it.
PayPal at $81.
They're cutting the nets down at PayPal. One shining moment.
PayPal is winning. 81 for PayPal.
Step on their necks.
PayPal won by a lot.
Oh my God, that just warms your heart to see. Isn't that incredible? Like you almost think. I mean, art has come to life in this moment. Where like that seems like a movie script. That doesn't seem real. Like PayPal could come back from such a they were leading, then started getting fucking throttled by Rumble and YouTube, and then right at the end, the scrappy underdogs pull it out. It really is inspiring.
I do like the idea, though, that this battle that he's created could be taken out by one bad storm in Minnesota. Just knocks his internet out, and it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll go home.
This is like 300. Like the rags. I mean, it's amazing what PayPal was able to do up against titans like YouTube and Rumble.
6 for YouTube. Steven off the top rope. What a fucking guy. Where is he on the list?
What a guy. Steven could be a convicted felon for all we know. What a guy.
Steven was on the list this week. Son of a bitch.
Oh my God. Out of nowhere he came from.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that $55. And that's also going to knock out today's goal. Thank you so much. Eric with $1 over on PayPal says,
now they're getting greedy.
Love Nancy Pelosi. Well, isn't that sweet? So now PayPal has the W with $82, but YouTube is only $6 away. Rumble is at 54, about $28 away.
I like that he's like, hey, the goal has been knocked out, but you guys don't want to lose the war if you're watching on YouTube, do you? You're not just going to take that lying down.
I like how he's just like, I really don't give a fuck about this war. he's the Dick Cheney of this war. He's Halliburton, dude.
Definitely another win for the toe and another perfect week for the toe.
This is like, we're like, hey, Bin Laden's dead. We're out of Afghanistan, right? And they're like, yeah, give it 10 years.
And we'll get out real sloppily.
We're going to leave most of our shit behind, but sure enough, we'll get out of there.
You know what? We'll get 13 people killed on the way out, too, for no reason.
That's what Aaron's doing. He's leaving his tanks just in case, you know? Oh, it was so good to have the goal back, wasn't it, folks?
Yeah, of course. I like how he made it like a civil war, though.
It was very important. There was a mutiny happening.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I got a couple super chats.
Well, let's hear them.
The next 1, 2, 3, 4 are $2 donations from Chris Primer.
Chris Primer really, that's a good soldier.
Start a rally.
Woo! I'm with you, baby. That puts YouTube up 8-0.
Yes.
I don't know if that affects anyone, but just so you know, YouTube has now received $8 more than any other than Patreon, I guess. So go to Patreon if you don't want YouTube to win.
Hamilton Burger, $2. Aaron doesn't understand Revenge of the Nerds either.
I don't know that I know the movie well enough to go with you on that, but I believe you.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And this is lastly, I thought we were going to avoid this guy.
Oh no! Come on, spare me. Spare my feelings.
No, this is me.
Oh, okay, all right.
Dawn Fried Chicken, $5. Craig, why do you keep taking pictures of my daughter holding and eating hot dogs at the barbecue the other day?
Oh, you were trying to show me those. Why do you do that?
I didn't do that.
You didn't.
I would never do such a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go to blindmike.net. That's where you can support the program. That's where you can help us hit our goal on Patreon or YouTube. Become a member to get early access and bonus content. I forgot to mention at the start of the show, if you want to watch Coroner's Inquest #1.
Oh, boy.
Maybe don't start there. It was a real dud. We watched the finale of Quincy, and it sucked.
It was terrible.
But we did save 3 more episodes, and we're going to watch episode 1. So if you want to get on the Patreon to play the Quincy drinking game with us and finish out Quincy, feel free to do so. But we're coming to a real... I don't have high hopes for these other episodes because it's not the last season. It's not officially the last season. I never realized that when we were talking about it. But anyways, I'm underselling it. It was a great time. And Why You Laughing episode about Sam Hyde and Tim Heidecker is up right now if you want to check that out too. That's for members only right now, so go check it out or support the show for free wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps more people find the show. blindmike.net is where you get all those links. We appreciate you guys. And go to verygoodshow.org to support Craig.
Sure.
If you're one of these Craigophiles I heard about, I should have asked the people I met last night.
Yeah.
They say they're Craigophiles. I should have said, you on verygoodshow.org, pal?
I wouldn't blame them if they aren't.
Wow. I would. So do that to support Craig. What's that?
Unboxing Eric following this program right now.
Yeah, so if you're into Eric the Midget, go watch Casey Day and DJ Electra Fry talk about Eric the Actor and the Howard Stern Show. They're doing that right now. And I think they're also beyond tonight. So go check out HACKRIDE Studios. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
And we have a mean transition.
If you don't think that I've been hilarious this morning, I have news. This show is not for you. And we should lovingly part ways.
Hey, it's Boogie. Sappers clear the way. Everyone all the way.
Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy beer, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
there's no cum on my mic.
Rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story.
Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right. Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing's bad happened.
Money, 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 money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.